we chilling today.
We're chilling.
We got the West Coast vibe. We was listening to Snoop doing the setup. So we chilling. Let me make sure my phone is already on one.
No accidents. No inter.
Ooh, there's been a lot going on today. Somebody saying something?
I saw it moving up, so I was just making sure
Okay,
nobody was asking any questions. We're here,
All
guys.
It is Toast Tuesday. So the first thing we're gonna do is kick off this toast
with our Snoop Dogg wine.
So y'all gotta tell everybody what we drinking.
Very appropriate for the day. Snoop Dogg.
We drinking
Cali Rose.
19 Crimes, Cali Red. All right.
Snoop.
All right,
Appropriately, right?
And a little rosé.
And
Cali
Cali Rose by Snoop.
A black wine business owner. Support Snoop's wine.
Snoop. So we might want to put some more Snoop.
I saw this video where somebody took did you see the video where they put their phone on it? On some app and he raps, he talks. Did you see that?
No,
I want to try it.
So let me tell you,
I
was in the store last night, and when I saw this, I was like, we got to keep with the theme of not only 420 but supporting black business.
Right.
And this is what black business is all about. Who would have thought Snoop would have a wine?
I have a reputable wine. A reputable wine. Because white people buy that too.
This is the grind. This is what I'm talking about.
They do. I heard about that
White
from
people
a
do not make us reputable.
Listen, no, I'm just saying no, they absolutely don't. But when somebody introduces you to a black business that you've not heard of it, you know that it's making an impact on the economic. That's why I said that.
Racial divide, right?
Don't let them box you in.
Right now, Martha Stewart might have had something to do with that.
Exactly.
But yeah, like Martha Stewart might have put the plug out there.
So this is what this say. Don't ever get boxed in.
Now how do we get up
Snoop
the
got a
ad?
wine. So I didn't see that. Let me see if I see any QR codes on here or anything.
It was a QR
code. That was interesting.
And he was talking in his Snoop voice too. I was like, wow. That's interesting.
Don't see it.
Let's see. It was me
See what happens.
You take a picture of the actual Bible?
That's what he did. He put his phone on it, and all of a sudden Snoop started talking.
Snoop started talking.
Maybe Snoop sent him a special.
Maybe he was.
Snoop is not talking today.
Snoop isn't saying anything.
Snoop
all right, well.
He is off.
Well, we can put Snoop on.
We'll just drink Snoop. We ain't got.
We gonna drink
poor thing.
This pop is gonna try both of them.
Yeah,
so this gonna be like a little wine tasting.
We'll do a wine tasting
as well. I apologize for that.
The store is getting called.
Somebody wants to money. They need their stuff.
They want to celebrate
the
League Day.
The phone is over there. It's kind of.
You want to answer?
American Shaman, how may I assist you?
There we go. There we go. We family here.
Yes, it's 420. What would you like? Everything. Come get everything. They hung up.
They probably like, who the hell was that? Who in the world is answering that phone?
They must have realized they called the wrong person or the wrong place. Maybe they meant to call somebody else's 420 gathering.
Now it's the 50th anniversary. See, I'm not like I'm just a new. I'm not gonna say I'm a virgin, but I'm like new. You know, I'm new.
You're a beginner, not intermediate.
I'm an amateur.
Okay.
I haven't.
So it's the 50th anniversary.
I'm on a bunny hill.
That weed enthusiasts have consistently celebrated the date of 420. Now there's a whole bunch of stories that are out there about the way that it started. From stoners at school that wanted to just have 420 as a code that they would go out and smoke,
probably the
to people at their job. So it just became a popular trend for people to just say 420. Anytime anybody says 420, you know exactly what that means. But it basically is a celebration of cannabis.
Well, they want us to say cannabis.
They don't want
to say loud.
Marijuana. Loud.
Weed, ganja.
Yeah, I think we talked about that last time.
We
right?
did.
Yeah.
And there was a couple names that we weren't really that familiar with. But loud because of the smell, right? That we came to that conclusion. Because it's very loud and potent.
Right.
It's very strong.
I've been places and I've been like, remember we had an encounter the other day, we were like, there's somebody smoking
Somebody's smoking loud in here. What it smell like weed? Who was in
It was only the two of us in there though, so it was very strange.
Somebody.
Alright, so we're gonna do our toast, guys. Hopefully you have your stuff whatever you're toasting today.
We're gonna let the
It's,
men.
it's
go
Toast and Toke Tuesday. So,
Toast and what?
Toke.
Toke Tuesday. That was
Toast
cute.
and Toke
All right.
Toast, toke, sample, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
All
And
right.
chew, whatever you do with
This
it.
is up, prosperity, and success to all.
Six-figure
Six-figure
employees.
employees.
Salaries.
Celebrate
Salaries.
420.
420.
420.
Straight out of weed.
Take 6 tokes on your weed.
Alright, Snoop got a real wine here.
Snoop got a
He
red
does. This is a nice
wine.
red blend.
Yeah.
This is a good red
Yeah.
blend. And where is this? He's probably got this. He has must have
This
a
is-
winery,
this is
some
nice.
vineyard over there in Cali.
This is
Does he have a vineyard in Cali? I'm
I'm
flying to Cali tomorrow. I'm
Like I
gonna see you
said,
guys
I
on the
picked
West
this up
Coast.
last night, wasn't even aware of it, and didn't have time to really look at it today. But yeah, I'll do it.
And it's a nice little packaging. His bottle is nice. Of course, he's on the bottle. Does it say crimes on it? 19 crimes. Cali Red.
Cali Red. He's
And it's a
been
mug
on.
shot. Is that a mug shot?
Let's
No.
see.
No.
The origin is California, so it's giving mug shot vibes. But it's really just him and his element. And it's got like the specs of the wine on the bottom. It's a 2019, so they do have, it's a little vintage, a little bit. Not, it's
Yeah.
kind of new, but
Pre-COVID.
it's 2 years old, yeah, pre-COVID. 19 crimes. I like this packaging though. This is actually very
I
nice.
really like the rose. That's rose, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 14.1% alcohol. So you already know between, this is gonna be an interesting show.
This is gonna be very interesting
I
because
know,
I'm
that's
gonna
what
just
I'm
put a
gonna say.
disclaimer out first
I'm just
because
gonna
last
say-
week, off the 9%, I was a little.
You were
bit-
definitely a little litty. You
I
were
was
litty
having
a little
great
bit.
time.
Okay, alright.
So, which
So-
was fun. It was fun. This is gonna be.
And I say, but I needed this today. It's been a very intense.
It's been a challenging day.
It's been very challenging this week. It's just been very intense.
So yes.
But
So
who's
so what we were trying to explain before when we got sidetracked a little bit was that we have to come up with a new name for weed. Weed is a very
Well, that's what the other people.
well,
say.
it's what they said. I don't really care what you call it. We all know what it is. We ain't gonna walk
They
around
just,
saying
it's like
420.
anything, like blues turned into Elvis, and you know, they just
They
wanna
take
change,
things.
they're changing their,
Right.
they wanna change, it's gentrifying the name of weed, moving forward.
Right.
I'm still probably gonna say weed or
I mean,
loud.
how
So
else we gonna
let me
unanimously come up with a
let me
name?
add a little bit to that.
Okay.
So we just look at it like any other slang that you're using out there. The term weed is a slang term.
Right.
This term marijuana is a slang term.
Right.
The term loud
It's a
It's
slang
is a
term.
slang term,
Mhm.
and that's to simplify it. But
It's the Ebonic version of cannabis.
well, let's say slang.
Okay.
So cannabis is cannabis, period. No matter what strand it comes in.
Right.
So we have to do, even with here, we have to do a lot of education because we have health and wellness and we have psychoactive. And some people look at this because it says CBD, they're thinking health and wellness only, but we do have a psychoactive line as well.
And we about to talk
Which
about
we're
that
gonna
today, that's why we're
We're just
here.
gonna discuss today.
And we'll talk about that today.
Yeah.
So we will talk about that
Psychoactive
today.
line, which also has health and wellness benefits.
It has health and wellness benefits as well, the same health and wellness benefit, same pain management, same anxiety benefits with
A little
Yes.
relaxation on the side.
relaxation, sleep with the psychoactive effect.
And so just a little backdrop for first season, so this is our first repeat guest.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you broke the repeat
Look,
cherry.
I didn't know that.
You
Wow.
are the first.
And we always seem to
Lucky me.
we show up here
Or
at
420.
a festive event. No, it's festive or some type of spiritual awakening. So the last time we saw you was 11/11,
Mhm.
Oh, it was
2020.
11/11,
So we
yeah.
closed out our season with
Oh,
your
that's
show
right,
Yes.
that's
on
right.
11/11.
Significant.
So very significant. So now we're picking up this same guest. So if you want to go back to the footage from 11/11, you will get a little bit more information about
The health and wellness.
the health and
side.
wellness, and then the name of the store. We're gonna drop that. Give
Okay,
everybody the name.
CBD American Shaman, Conyers, Georgia, because this is a national franchise. So make sure you look up the Conyers, Georgia location.
Right, so we were here 11/11, which was the portal and a spiritual awakening, and we learned everything from the Conyers American Shaman, Mr. Thaddeus himself. We learned, or Thad, we call him Thad.
Bad.
So we learned about CBD and the health benefits versus I'm high. That's
Right.
the song.
And that you don't, that there is a difference, because some people think that there isn't a difference, and just because, like, all CBD does have the psycho, what is it
The
called?
CBD is gonna have.
What is the effect?
Psychoactive effect.
Psychoactive effect. So some people just wouldn't try it because they thought they
'Cause they
all
thought
had the
they would try it.
psychoactive
Exactly,
effect.
exactly.
They don't all have that. So we did get a chance to explain, you got a chance to explain to everybody that there's a difference, and just because you're getting the same relaxation or sleep benefits and all these other anti-inflammatory things, doesn't mean that you have to have the psychoactive ingredient.
And using it for health and wellness,
Right.
for pain management,
Right.
migraines, back pain, just different ailments,
Anxiety.
diabetes,
Anxiety,
ADHD,
it was a lot of
diabetes.
things.
I have kids coming here. I have elderly people coming here. I have cancer patients coming here. I have people that were hooked on opioids coming here. So the list goes on and on. We have something that will help everybody. We just gotta have a conversation and see what's going on.
And this
We
is
even
not
found
the
out-
after hours. This
Yeah.
is a real store that's
Right.
open. It's legal in Georgia.
There's a register,
You'll be surprised how many people
internet
sneak,
access.
sneak in here and be like,
Oh,
you
you
got
be stupid. Is this a joint? And we learned the difference. We had lip gloss popping.
They
with
had, and
CBD in it.
I was shocked by the dog products. Now
Oh, yeah.
that I didn't remember, that was very shocking to me.
Right,
Right.
right. So a little bit for everybody, you know?
So we went over that, so
Right.
11/11, so now we're here again, this is our first repeat guest, season
Right.
2, and we're here again at the Conyers American Shaman, and we are gonna talk about THC, and we're celebrating, it's a festive event, because it is 50th anniversary of National Weed Day
In the US,
in the US, and we have now legalized weed in 17
in
states.
17 states.
So it's coming to a state near you.
Recreational use.
Recreational
So not
use.
just medicinal, now we're getting into recreational. Which they might as well do. Just collect some taxes off of it and just go on with your business, because people are gonna do it anyway.
Now, and that's why they are cleaning up the name for the old
Right.
establishment, more
Right.
so, and the IRS legislation,
Right.
and it looks, it's more
Looks better on
palatable
paper.
to old school men, you know,
Even though they smoke
Establishment.
joints too.
Right.
to say, they do,
They
but they don't,
smoke joints too.
it was in after hours, so they don't
Yeah,
like
they
to
don't want anybody to
promote
know it.
Right,
Correct.
so it makes it sound better on a tax return to say cannabis, and it allows more coding, and it allows more, because payments, learned I was gonna try to invest in some payment sourcing
Mhm.
companies
Right.
for the processing of credit card payments. So a
Can't
lot
do
of people cannot do the credit card processing. That's what the dispensaries in the 17 recreational states are
Right.
running into, and you're having.
We're not
a
gonna talk
challenge.
about that out loud.
Yeah, we
Okay.
won't. We're gonna talk, so you have, it's a challenge about the processing, so we need to clean up the imagery
Right.
of cannabis
Mhm.
nationally.
Well, it's
Um,
repeating the prohibition with the bootlegger versus the
Yeah,
liquor
moonshine
store. Moonshine versus
versus
alcohol.
wine.
Right,
Same.
it's the same.
And now you can go in any liquor store and buy moonshine.
Yeah.
So it's the
Packaged
same.
cute
And
little
it makes for a
mason
fun
jar.
evening. It's
They
very
even got
fun.
TV
Right.
shows
If
about
you can-
the
if you can
moonshine,
last.
you know? So
Right.
it's the same process.
It's
Yeah.
Right.
the same process.
Right.
So now we're here now, and we're gonna kind of go more into the THC products this time, talk about some more, and the differences between those that can take us on the
What
more
is the
fun
line actually
side.
called? Because I know
So-
Delta 8 THC is the ingredient,
That's the strand.
the strength.
You're right.
But the line itself is called
It's Hometown Hero.
Hometown Hero.
Hometown Hero, okay? And this is legal. One more quick question I had, because we kind of went off on a tangent, and I'm always about, I follow the money, because if you follow the money, it always knows, and so, now you in place, because this is a franchise, so it's more than just in Georgia. I'm sure American Shaman is in one of the 17 recreational states.
Right.
Being in place with this particular business, because we talked on 11/11 somewhat about the business attributes, entrepreneur opportunities in this business. Are you already in place for dispensary?
Yeah, so this is a situation where you'll be grandfathered in, me being in a
Okay.
franchise. So let's back up a little bit. So
Okay.
you go to the gas station, you get CBD. You go to vape shops, you get the CBD. You go CBD Joe, you buy CBD products, all right?
Okay.
That's independent people set up shop to sell CBD products.
But they're not
Okay.
franchise.
They're not franchised. So
Mhm.
that means no one is lobbying for that particular product, brand, or establishment.
Okay.
So what you have is situation where, lobbying through Washington, like my franchise lobby.
So they're doing a lot of, so
They're doing
now,
a lobby.
I wanna talk offset
They're
about me
making-
investing, I would like to open.
They're making sure the legalities are there. Just like here in Georgia a few months ago, we saw at South Fulton, all the guys got arrested out there, and then people was like, wait a minute, I thought this was legal.
Mhm.
You don't have a license.
You don't have the license, so.
So you
Your
get all your
grandfather,
licensing
if
stuff.
you're already in the franchise,
So, and I tell people
Legality has
that I
nothing to do
mean,
with certain.
why go to jail in 2021 doing something that is legal just because you didn't do your due diligence?
Right.
You know, get a license.
so do you get if someone wanted to get in the franchise and they come to you and talk about it, you recommend them, do you also
get
get
a
referral for it?
You will come under me.
So
So
you
I
need
will
to
be-
contact, we're not gonna ask him all the details,
Yeah.
you need to come on down here to Conyers, tell that we sent you
Mm-hmm.
with straight out of weed, hashtag.
Festive.
Straight out of
Festive
weed
is
is
a
your
little
hashtag.
weed on
So-
you.
Yeah, I got weed
I'll-
on my
Weed
pants and
on it.
everything.
I'll help you with sourcing your location, your budgeting, your build outs, your inventory, product knowledge. So, you know, you don't have to have any kind of experience or background in the business. Just show up.
Your mentor.
And so let's
You'll
get to the
mentor them
bag.
through the process of opening up their
Yeah.
business.
And the bigger picture for me is, in the 17 states, have you known of any store that's already in one of those, like New Jersey, for instance?
Somewhere
So
there's
Chris
recreational
Christie
living.
got all his boys, they already was set up for the dispensary, so when they hit the market, they already got the
Right.
dispensary. So now there are people in Jersey trying to establish these dispensaries and meeting people.
So with dispensaries, so let's talk about a dispensary. A dispensary grows the product there in their location. They can have a light, dark room, a
In
light
the back,
room in
right.
the back, and they're growing a particular product.
Okay.
Okay, I don't never really have to be a dispensary
You just could be retail.
because I have access to product. We
Right.
have forms. All these products you see in here are what's called seed to ship. So I know I can go to the farm where this product is grown.
Okay,
I've
because
been to
as
the
a
farm.
franchisee, and you
Right.
can pick out the product, and
Right.
you have access to the product. And
And it's already
do
packaged
any of-
by the time you get it and all the stuff that you don't, you
Right.
wouldn't have to go through the
So
process.
to come in, if you ever been to a dispensary, you have all the different.
Right, and you can pick it out.
And you can pick it out. That's cool, and that's what you like, but that's not really where you have to go with
You
this.
don't have to go there, but
You don't have to go
is
there.
there an option to do it with American Shaman?
We probably would grow there
Okay.
once it becomes, because again, you know, this is the largest franchise in any cannabis
Where is their
retail
headquarters?
in Kansas City.
Okay.
So there's over 400 of these stores across the US. So this is the largest retail franchise there is in the cannabis industry. So this is kind of like Walmart. So anything that's gonna jump off in the cannabis world is gonna happen here first.
Now, I would definitely,
That makes
we're gonna
sense.
talk
I was
offset.
like,
We
well, that
have
makes very much
experimentation in
sense.
mind already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we need
yes.
to talk offset,
Mhm.
and I would love to, hear the options, health and wellness, cause we're into chakras and yoga and life coaching and meditation and
Yeah.
Reiki.
And you include all that, and that's the thing with these franchise setups. Yeah, you have a brand, you have an obligation to the brand, but you gotta bring your own creative in
Right.
as well and do your thing,
Right.
you know.
So marketing and all that stuff is up to them, but you getting people in and then the branding and the,
And your image and your
Right.
brand is
Your
you,
brand is you.
whatever you are. Yeah.
understood.
Okay,
Okay, so
carry on.
now that we've got
We're
that
outside.
out of the way.
Yeah. But
So-
come over here and you come.
But you definitely need to at least, if you are hesitant or don't really know, I will
No, I wanna
say.
try this
You
one.
wanna try this one? See,
Well,
bossy,
drink that.
bossy.
Drink that out. Get that down first. But if you haven't ever been into a CBD shop, and if you aren't really versed in the different types of products that there are, whether it's psychoactive or not, you should definitely come down and let Dad do a consultation with you. Because
Right.
sometimes it is, like you said, some people think it's this thing that you have to be so secretive about,
Right.
and it's something that you just don't want other people to know, and it's really grown way beyond that, and it's not
It's
that
going way
now.
beyond that, and
It has.
it's going quick.
Right.
You know, what I tell people, whether you come here or not,
Right.
go to a true CBD franchise.
Right.
Don't go to the
Don't
gas
go to the gas
station, don't go to your vape places,
Right.
your corner,
Well, you don't
whatever.
really know what
So-
you're getting, and that was always what I would think. I see little jar, I've seen that
I
stuff,
got
and I know
yelled at
people
somebody
that say
for
that they
buying an
buy it,
edible
and
on
I'm
the
just
beach.
like, how do you know where that came from? Right, but to me, in a store like that, for me personally, I would think that the health and wellness benefits of that is probably not gonna be the same regulations as it would
Well,
be like.
you gotta look at it like this, just
Cause
think
I don't know
about,
where that came
think
from.
about the business mind, it's about
Right.
margins at that point, when you, if I'm at a gas station, I sell Kit Kats, I sell
Right.
Cokes, and I sell CBD.
Yeah.
None of those things are the same. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get the highest margins on the products.
cheapest product.
So I'm gonna have
buy-
the most inferior product
Yeah.
and the biggest markup.
Yeah,
Which is
With
the
the big-
business
right.
101.
Yeah, so.
And there is no customer service,
There's no
there is
customer
nothing
service,
like that,
there's no
you just come
loyalty,
in.
there's no
"Ooh, this looks
obligation in
good."
that, there's no accountability
Right.
in that.
Right, cause it's
Yeah.
third party, whatever name is on the package is who's liable.
then you
for
don't
the
need
And
to
product.
next
couple
week,
items.
let's say that product is good, and next week someone comes in with a cheaper product, guess what?
They're
I'm
gonna
take-
go to that.
I'm gonna go to that, so.
Is that
Snoop, I like the rosé.
Is it sweet?
It's a
Or
little bit.
is it rosé-ish? Does it taste rosé?
It tastes rosé Scottish, like.
Oh, I don't want the sweetness.
It's
Rose-
rose
Rosado.
Scottish.
Let me see what it,
Let me see. It might be
Rosado.
a 14% kicking in.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely
Scottish.
feeling a little warm. A little warm.
Okay, so
Yes.
we might have to come out of room straight out of
Okay.
these. We'll be straight out of shirts.
So Hometown Hero,
Yeah.
is that what it's called?
So that's the brand that we carry here.
Okay.
We also we support veterans with these products, so we have
And
services.
they need it because the PTSD.
They
I'm
do
sure
need
they
it.
will
So
calm them right on down.
we give military discounts here in the store, and we also donate a portion of these product sales go back to.
But you need the code, right? They got
What you
the
need? Their
military
phone number, a picture of
They
the
just
ID.
got-
What you need?
Well, they come in with the military
Oh,
ID,
okay.
but
Okay.
even though a portion of these sales from these products go to the veterans.
Is that why
as
it's
well.
called Hometown Hero? I was gonna ask you the significance
Exactly.
Now
of the
that's
name.
nice.
Okay.
That's great, and it can calm
Hometown.
everyone down, and
Yeah.
we can all get along, right?
Yes.
And put happiness in your heart. I
That's
think
it.
it's a good idea.
That's
So now
it.
When
tell
you
us a
come-
little bit about
when
these
you come back
products.
to your senses. When you're unstick, you can talk.
So, just like we talked in the past, cannabis can be taken in multiple ways. You can smoke it, you can eat it, you can inhale it, or you can tincture it.
Well, you said Bill Clinton said he didn't inhale.
So, this is what we have.
He said a lot of things that he didn't do.
He said
We
she
all
wasn't under the
yes.
desk.
I don't
Right.
know what that stuff on my shirt. I don't know what that. Whose dress is this?
Right,
And
exactly.
we
Wasn't
know-
me.
We found later on. We found out that he was not a credible witness.
Oh, you got the hourglass. What were you on the time?
Look, no, I just turned that because I just saw it sitting there and I was like,
Oh, okay. I'm like,
let's-
oh, it's good.
let's
That's
turn
how long it's gonna
And
take.
it's a
to get
American
set.
shaman. Look, it has the thing on it.
I like that.
So, okay. So, how about you explain? So, Delta 8 THC is the strand of your
that's the
product
strain of the product.
versus Delta 9, which is the normal strand of
Yes.
the.
So, the
Consensus.
legal, this going back to when you're talking about the industry lobbying for legal cannabis products.
Okay.
All right, if you read in the federal regulations for Schedule 1 drug, it lists Delta 9 as being a Schedule 1 drug,
Okay.
okay? As
Illegal
well.
drug.
That's illegal.
Okay. I'm like, so just
So
make
Schedule
sure we
1.
make sure we
Let's talk about
So
this.
Schedule 1
Schedule
illegal
9.
drug is Delta 9
Delta
THC.
9 THC,
Okay.
Okay.
That's what you buy, let's use the term street level, that's what you will be getting, Delta 9.
So that's when you make
At
that
the
phone
gas
call and
station.
you like, meet me at Popeyes.
I'm gonna need that loud
Right.
with that hometown hero.
What
and
you got?
No, let me go ahead.
You got that Zaza?
You're getting Delta 9, which is
Don't
legal,
ask me how I know that.
I didn't even know it.
which is illegal, okay?
It's illegal though.
It's
so
not
we
legal.
don't want the
We
Zaza.
don't want that.
So
Put this
Delta
down a little bit.
8 THC is legal, and it's basically a loophole in the federal laws.
Okay.
because Delta 8 is not listed as a Schedule 1 drug.
Because it's missing a couple of molecules
Yeah.
that are in the in the
What is
Delta
it?
9.
What is it missing
Okay.
exactly?
So-
Well, we
but
can't tell them
But
that.
it has the same psychoactive effects,
Minus a couple of negative effects such as
paranoia.
Paranoia.
You've been doing your
I
research.
listen.
So it
When we
doesn't-
talk about something, what I know we got going
And it
on.
doesn't have the munchies, right? That was the other
You,
one.
I mean, you're gonna be high.
You're
You're
gonna
gonna
be
be
So
high.
you do
Yes,
what you do
you
when you're
are.
high.
Yes,
But
you
you
are.
won't be paranoid.
You
not-
won't be
You're
paranoid.
not gonna have the paranoia. Like a lot of my former ball players, they get off the THC
Y'all hear that, former ball players?
because because getting older, they don't like the paranoia anymore.
No
So,
one likes that bitch. She touching me. Then
once
look
you
at
start reaching a certain point, the paranoia becomes, something that.
Oh, I need to catch up.
Does it get rid of the black lip part and the
I mean,
teeth
if you're
and
doing your edibles
Just-
and you're doing your
okay.
tinctures, you're not gonna have the blood.
But you can smoke some of this too?
That's a joint.
I,
that
you know
You
what?
had the
Can
whole
you-
joint in
Can
there,
we
yeah.
haven't, like, well, this what I, but it's already
It's
rolled.
rolled.
It's already rolled.
I wish we could, I should have brought the stuff. We don't got the paper. I don't know how to roll.
Why do you need to learn how to
I just be
roll?
wanting different skill sets. You
To
never
do
know.
what?
You can be in an awkward situation and maybe they say,
Roll this or you die.
If you get in that situation,
Roll this or go to jail? What,
If you find-
what situation are
if
you
you
gonna
find
be
yourself
in?
in that situation, pull this
Just
out.
come to Thad and get them already
just be
rolled.
like, where you
You ain't, I don't gotta do
I don't know how to do
These
it.
nails aren't made
And
to
then I'm
open.
like, when I see people roll, they be licking them. I'm like,
Maybe
it's
that's how they got
moving.
the black lips.
Well, you can prevent all that.
Okay.
Is this a roll?
I'm gonna have to come off the scene and make
Is
it
this a
a
frontal?
roll lesson. So
Okay.
this is what we would smoke, but we don't inhale.
But we don't-
Or we do it.
No, you got to, right?
You got to.
We might have to. We gonna have to hit it tonight. It's National Weed Day.
Can we just eat the gummy?
We gonna do a little bit of both. We right in our hometown. We
Okay.
got
Dad, you gotta
hometown
sprint out there to take us
Hey,
home.
look, hey,
How we
Yeah.
getting home?
Nighty night.
Bye, y'all.
We might.
It's
as well-
legal.
It's legal.
It's legal.
This is. Wait a minute. Let's
All right,
go
I guess I
over
need
that
to try
one
the
last
rosé.
time. This is legal, right?
this is legal.
It's legal.
So now, if
It
the
doesn't
cops
have the
pulled you
molecules
over
that
and
you
did
need.
the,
So,
now let's
good
talk
question.
about that.
Good
Yes.
question.
Like I'm like, so we go from here to there. Do we not need to mention your name? Should we talk
When
about
I
the
tell
seat?
around to come pick me up, what's
So-
going on?
I have
Let's see what
nothing
you
to
think.
do with DUIs. So I have nothing to do with DUIs. But I
No,
will
no.
say that
Will you get hold
Well,
on.
DUI is driving
Under
under
the
the influence.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh, but you know
weed,
what?
it
That could be
pulls weed
anything.
down.
Because I did read a story one time where somebody was under the influence of Benadryl
right.
and they got pulled over and taken to jail because you're not supposed to
Yeah.
operate heavy machinery.
With
under those-
Benadryl?
Benadryl, you know Benadryl makes you high before you go to sleep.
No, it
Everybody
doesn't.
know
It
that.
doesn't work on me.
Well, not for the people that are adverse reaction people, but some people give Benadryl to their kids to make them go to sleep. Come
Don't
on,
work
now,
on
you
me.
know that.
So
I don't have
so-
that kid. 'cause-
So it's a difference in a DUI, but what I'm about to explain to you,
This
if you
is
got
nice.
pulled over and this was sitting on your seat, all you have to do is hit this QR code
Oh.
and this shows the officer, you pull it up on your phone.
Oh, wait a minute.
So not in a DUI situation because that means
I mean,
you did something erratic.
yeah,
that made
you're
you pull
under
them
the
over for that.
influence.
So
Period.
now if you bought
So we
that,
should definitely invest in these containers, people.
At least,
It's-
at
it's
least
in a
have the
sm-
container.
is it a smell-proof container?
You can't
Can
smell
you
it.
smell it?
No.
But is it?
If you
Well,
open
well,
it,
when
it
you
won't
open
smell.
Okay, but let me ask you this. If, not that I'm trying to get a loophole, but is that considered to be a smell-proof container or no?
You can't smell that.
But you can smell it when you open it.
When you open it, you gonna
Okay.
smell it, yeah.
So it's a
Yeah,
smell-proof container,
that's
guys.
sealed, that's sealed, yeah.
Okay,
My-
so what does
oh,
it
my
say when you
QR
turn the
scanner.
QR?
It didn't come
Just
up
do
right.
it with your camera.
I tried it.
You know,
It didn't
camera.
come up. I did.
And, so it's gonna show
14%
you,
is kicking in, y'all.
it's gonna show you everything that's in that, every ingredient that's in that product.
So we
which
show
is-
that to the police, is what
Which
you're
is
saying?
in the legal limits of the law here in the state of Georgia.
Well, let's just hope the Lord can
Oh,
read.
it is. You have to go on the
Oh,
iPhone
try to
12
snoop
Pro.
on that.
You have to go on the 12. I mean the 2.5, not 12. It's a 12, but you have to go on the 2.5
Oh, okay.
Zoom, and pulled up a form, a whole form.
So you're saying, in case you have this, you come
So
for
if it's
purchasing
sitting
this
on your
stuff,
seat, yeah.
and it's sitting here, and the cop says,
What's
"What's
that?
that?"
Yeah.
You go ahead and announce that you're getting your phone. We're gonna do that first. Let them know what we're doing. We're gonna pull up this QR code, and it's gonna list the ingredients, which are all legal
Which are
in the
all
state of
legal
Georgia.
in the state
Now,
of
this is Georgia information, so if you're somewhere else, you need to figure out what you gotta. Well, in a lot of other states, it's
It's in a lot of
recreational.
other states,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's also legal and
And this
recreational.
is a national franchise, it's not
Yeah.
just,
Right.
it's in every state, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
alright, so
Okay.
you pull that up, does it have one on this little thing right here, when you pull out the rolling?
every product,
Every
in-
product.
every
Every product
product
got a
in here
QR
has a
code.
QR
Even the gummies.
Even the gummies, alright. Okay, and then what's this? You put this,
That's a
That's a
tincture.
tincture.
You put it under your tongue.
and it's gonna do what?
The same,
Same
thing.
thing.
So
Alright,
you
so
don't
this
want
tastes
this-
like weed.
you
So
don't-
what do you recommend, because we are drinking, with 14%, and what do you recommend we try out?
I'm gonna let you do the recommendation.
Oh, okay, wonderful. My portion of the show is recommendations.
But this
guys.
is legal, she said.
This is legal. So, I had the pleasure of trying one of the watermelon flavored gummies the other night, because I knew we were coming on the show, and somebody had to be the test dummy, because who knows what's gonna happen when you try it and then you get on here looking crazy.
But we are different people, so you never know what's going to
Well, we
happen.
don't ever know, but at least I wanted to know what the general effects would be.
Right.
Now, Dad told me a whole story about what happened to him. He went to Cabo 2 weeks
What
ago, last
happened,
week.
Dad?
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
And what happened?
About 2 weeks
About
ago.
2 weeks ago. Spring break week, right?
Yeah.
So tell the viewers
So
what happened to you, Dad.
So for me, I took 1.5.
So your wife took half.
Took
Of
half.
one.
Okay, so and I ate her half. And then
It wasn't good. It tastes good.
It tastes good.
Delicious.
Yeah.
And
candy is
then
like
I took
vegetable.
But you
one.
thought nothing was happening.
And I was walking around. We was in San Jose and walking around. And because I was walking, I felt it. But I was like, I'm walking, I'm moving, and I'm in Cabo. So what you do in Cabo? You step it up, right? So I pulled my backpack off. I pop another one in my mouth
Hold one down.
while I'm walking.
So half of one and a whole, and these are not small. I don't know if you can see
Yeah.
these, but they're blocks.
And hide them from your kids, because my kids,
Yeah, no,
they're
no.
regular
They
gummies,
almost
they
can-
vitamins. They
Yeah,
think
or
it's candy.
melatonin. These
Yeah.
are, and they're pretty. I mean, almost ice cube size.
Yeah.
They're pretty big.
So at this point, I'm 2.5.
Oh,
All right. So
I don't know.
we decide we're gonna step into.
2.5 of them?
I'm 2.5.
Now you
So he
know
took a
that-
half, her half, and then he had one of his own.
Yeah.
And then he said,
It's
when
not
you're
working.
when
Look,
in
you
Cabo,
Do
every
combo.
Cabo.
So
So you popped a
So-
whole nother ice cube.
I'm a party guy, so I'm used to that feeling. So I'm like, it's okay. I'm sitting in the restaurant and literally this shit jumps down on me like,
Was it the giggles?
So wait, he's
Was
telling
it-
me this story,
what
right?
happened? What
He's
jumped
telling me
out?
this story. We're standing here. His wife is listening, like she's standing here too. She's listening. She goes, he was messed up.
yeah.
He was messed up. I'm like,
I'm talking about. I
that
feel like I
was
being-
hilarious.
So
I'm
there's
like,
a
wow.
language barrier, right? So we waiting for food.
Mm.
So I'm trying to tell the guy, just give me the ticket. I don't want the food anymore because now
I gotta go.
I'm feeling like I
You
gotta
gotta
go. I gotta move.
What was you going to do?
I just had to move.
You
I
had to
had
keep
to.
Just had to go.
You had to keep moving at this point.
I ain't messing
So
with this food. I gotta go.
I don't want no food. Now remember, the wife is on half of one, and my wife don't drink to do anything.
Right.
So she
A little on
she
one, too.
jumps up, a little kid in the restaurant. So she jumps up in the restaurant and said, "They don't know where that kid going."
Oh my god.
She ain't tell you that part of
See?
it.
No, she was focused on him.
So-
she was like, he was messed up.
Once she says that, I'm gone.
knew it was
I'm
on.
like laughing uncontrollably. I'm laughing so hard, I'm literally about to blank out. So
That's
it
the
got
best
to the
thing
point.
ever.
It got to the point where I had to turn away from her and and act like she wasn't even there. I couldn't even look at her anymore. So, and then I'm trying to tell the guy, and I'm telling him to bring my check, but I guess he meant like I felt like the food was taking too long. He kept telling me, "No, your food's coming, your food's coming," and I'm like, "No."
And nobody at the table speaks Spanish, so we can't even get to the bottom of the conversation.
We can't just say, we don't want the food.
We have to go.
Just give us
This
the
is
check.
serious.
You can take it home with your
Just
baby.
put it in the
Right,
box.
right.
Here,
And
money
take
for
it with you.
everybody.
I personally have to get out of here.
So now I'm feeling like I'm being kidnapped. So that's a whole nother layer to this thing.
Now
Well, you don't
that's
have paranoia. You don't have paranoia,
No,
though,
that's
right?
not paranoia. That's the situation because you ready to go.
'Cause I gotta
and then
go.
you like, shit, I'm in Cabo, so I'm in Mexico, so I can't just walk out like I would do at home.
Well, you could throw the
know?
money on the table and just kept it
So
moving.
I don't,
You could have just made it rain. Be like,
Yeah.
here,
I just gotta go. I can't. Just, I don't know how much it
you,
is. Take it off.
you in Mexico, you don't know what the laws are, so you like,
You didn't want to go to Mexican
I'm-
jail.
you don't
Nobody
wanna
wants
go to
do that.
Mexican
Yeah,
jail.
You
nobody
don't wanna
wants
go
to
to
do that.
So you don't want to go to Mexican jail.
No.
So we stuck. So we finally get them to say they'll bag the food up. So,
Okay.
but it seemed like what probably was 20 minutes seemed like it took 2
3
hours.
Yeah.
So
Because everything's like so focused. And just every minute is a minute.
you're so detailed on whatever
It's-
you're
yes.
into. So that's the focus side of it.
It is.
Which is good. So the moral of the story, don't underestimate these products because they come out of a CBD store.
Yeah.
You know, you have to dose these products properly and take your time and wait for it.
Agreed.
You know, don't just say, "Oh, I got this from a CBD store. I'm gonna take 3 of these." You know.
Agreed.
Okay, so we're gonna like, as we segue into the hot topics.
Well, so we could, so you got to make your recommendation, and I'll just tell my little story. I heard that whole story, and I
It
understood.
was disobedient.
Yeah, I comprehended what you said, but I was like, okay. Like you said, it was CBD store. I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And I've had your other products. I said,
Yeah.
ain't shit gonna happen. That's basically what I told myself.
Yeah.
So I proceeded to take a half of a watermelon gummy. 30 minutes go by, I said, ain't nothing wrong. I'm straight. I'm good. I'm sitting there, I was like, I'll wait a couple more minutes. About 40 minutes go by, I was perfect. So I ate the other half of it.
Mhm.
About 10 minutes after that, I was like, am I in a cartoon? Everything's in slow motion, and I can hear every word
You
and
can
every
hear it,
breath.
yeah, that's what I tell people. When you start hearing yourself talking,
I did. I said, I'm incredibly focused. I'm laser sharp right now. I'm fine. Drove home. I got home. I started organizing my pantry.
Yeah.
Every Tupperware in my house has a top. I did just so much stuff.
Well, go ahead and eat some more. Come over here to the house. Follow me home.
I mean, I don't know, what can I do? And then after I do all, I'm gonna go in my closet. I'm gonna handle that. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna cook dinner for tomorrow. I mean, I was gonna watch a movie. And then I said, no, calm down. You're gonna be okay. Okay, I'm just gonna go to bed. That's what I said to myself.
right.
I didn't go to bed.
Yeah.
I
So
laid
how
there.
long did you stay up?
I watched the whole movie.
Okay, what was the movie?
Belly. I watched Belly.
Belly.
I watched Belly.
Keisha.
It was so. I was like, oh, I've never seen bellies quite so extensive.
Right.
Belly
And
was
but
big.
see,
I
that's
was like,
kinda-
Lennox was that. Well, let me not say that word, but he was very interesting.
Let's take the glasses off. We haven't seen about this.
Yes.
Ooh,
So I saw it in a whole new light, and I think I probably want to watch it again tonight.
There you go.
After we leave here. But it was very interesting. But nonetheless, the moral of the story is I underestimated, even though I had the proper information.
Right.
And I wasn't nothing wrong. Like, I was fine.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready.
You wasn't.
I wasn't
prepared.
ready. I wasn't prepared for the level of relaxation that I was going to get.
In the reality, that half really, which a lot of times you didn't realize, but you were fine with that half.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
you
she
just-
shouldn't
Had
have.
I waited,
Yeah, she
enough.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's 45 minutes. And it was sitting there, because what was going to happen was I was like, oh, I'm going to have to throw it in the garbage. Because it was, just sitting there. So I was like, I'll just eat it.
Yeah.
Now,
Nah,
I popped my weed cherry for the first time at age 41.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to date myself, it wasn't that long ago, but
Weed cherry. I was
I
focused on the weed cherry.
I popped my whole weed cherry at 41. But I don't, nothing,
But
I got more
what did you
serious.
do? Did you
Yeah.
smoke? Or did you
The
eat an
41
edible?
weed cherry was a smoke.
Okay.
Multiple, I even did the what did they call it? The bong thing?
Yeah.
I was like,
Would you agree that
that's
when you
normal.
have edibles, so it's a different high, right?
It's a different because you're dosing with edibles.
You're
Okay.
dosing. But
Yeah.
is it not
like
a,
milligrams.
Yeah, that's that one gummy is 25 milligrams.
Yeah, we definitely can't take a whole gun.
Yeah, so that's
so when you smoke?
That's a lot.
yeah.
That was, you
That's
didn't say
25.
Did you learn that?
No wonder I was
Yeah,
clean
that's
as
20
shit.
That's 25.
My whole house, spotless. Very organized.
Wax on, wax off.
That's exactly.
Well, that's-
I was sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Sitting in the kitchen on the floor. I said, how am I gonna get up from
So
here now?
with the smoke, you have a little bit more control because you can monitor it better inhaling.
And it doesn't take as long to happen. So
Right.
you smoke a couple,
Because you
and
inhale
then
it
you're
into
like,
your
oh, okay, I
lungs
feel a little bit.
versus taking, so anything you digest through your stomach is gonna
Takes a
take
minute.
longer. So that's why you hear all these stories about edibles, whether they're cookies, whether they're brownies. Brownies have to be the worst one because brownies taste good. So people eat brownies.
Now I did. Now so
I've
that
done
was
that as well.
that
That
was
was
my
amazing.
my third time. My second time I had an adverse little reaction. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to see again.
Right.
See,
Right.
I went literally because
last year I went back.
yeah, it was just a lot going on and
So have we figured out what we're gonna
Yeah.
have?
It's
yeah,
up
we
to
had a
y'all.
gummy, you said.
A gummy?
Oh, did I?
Or we about to smoke.
Are we allowed to?
We probably don't wanna smoke.
Okay,
Because
well,
we
let's
don't
take a
wanna,
gummy.
we don't wanna alarm the neighbors.
Oh, that's a good. The
So they
smell.
would smell it, right?
Yeah, they smell it.
Okay.
Do you have something that you can open that we can smell this? How does it smell? Like I just
It-
want to know when you open a container, is it like?
It smells like loud, yeah.
It smells just like that.
Yeah.
I think y'all should.
I love the way he just was like, smell like loud. What you think it smell like?
Oh, I think we should stick with the gummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smoking thing is a little bit.
Half, because we're
beyond
still, we only got like the 20 more minutes, so we'll just move through our hot topics and gracefully exit. Now what's that?
Is that
These
what we're
are
gonna
gummy rings.
Gummy rings?
Yeah. So
How do we portion that?
you just
Rings?
eat one. I opened it already, so.
Okay, gummy rings. Like you can
Are
put
they
it on your
worm?
finger like a ring?
No, they weren't.
So, and the reason, because those are 10
But they weren't.
What do
milligrams
you want? Oh, 10 milligrams.
versus the 20. So I figured we'll start there, because those are 10.
So one
Start
is
here.
10. So we're gonna,
And-
wait a
and we
minute.
can- And we can, you know,
Wait a minute, we're gonna,
Where
you
else
wanna
are we
get one
going?
too?
Yeah, you have
Yeah,
to.
you have
We have to toast.
and we can,
We're popping our worm.
So guys, we're officially not out of weed anymore. We've got gummies.
And
There
this
are
is
gummies.
legal and
And
it's THC.
Delta H, Delta
Delta
8,
8
THC.
Delta 8.
So let's toast
Let's
this.
toast
This
this.
is
Here we go.
Here we go.
okay. It's delicious. Got a little sugar on the outside, like the real ones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll start here. What you saying?
Go right here.
It's like a nice goldfish. What do they want? The ones that are
Gummy worms.
And the kids we get, but they
Gummy worms.
sour.
Gummy worms.
They're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fool you? They'll definitely. You
Nah.
better hide these if y'all get them, cause they'll
Yeah.
fool
The
you.
kids will tear all of these
They'll
up.
eat that whole
And then we'll have a
bag,
deep
They will.
and you'll be
In
in the
deep
handcuffs.
Look crazy.
You'll be in the handcuffs.
We will
Look
be-
crazy.
Oh, he giving us more of the rose. We have to finish that up. Snoop.
I'm not gonna drink more rosé, but I will take
The red.
the red, cause that's my fave.
So, in hot topics, as we move into hot topics, let's go ahead before we get too hot and talk about the most hottest shit on the plate today. The hottest hot topic. I already
Wait,
cursed.
I'm like, we have a format. Hold on.
Because we gonna
She jumped right-
deviate and
she
do
jumped
it.
right to
I
it.
was like, wait a minute now. We're talking about the hot shit yet.
Put the tray back on the tray.
Yeah, I'm like,
pick it up, pick it
okay.
up. But we're gonna talk about, we gotta, because we might
will.
get high, so we have to
Well,
get it out.
it'll be a wonderful conversation.
No, let's
then. That will be the
I
best.
had to leave.
Okay, so let's talk about this really quick. We'll talk about we'll do a COVID update because everybody wants to know that. And then
Do
we'll
they really?
if
Go
they
ahead.
traveling, they gonna wanna know.
I know.
We're
I'm
traveling.
so stressed about it.
Exactly. So we normally do a COVID update. We're gonna the simplified COVID update that we're gonna do today is that there has been a travel advisory based off of some information that came out from Johns Hopkins University saying that because there is a mutated strand out there that we need to travel less
To a certain country.
to a certain country.
Spain, Europe,
Right.
you know, Brazil is like
Brazil
having
specifically.
a mass, serious problem.
So I don't know. This is my
The fear monger.
this is my fear mongering, but I wonder if it is a ploy to just push the COVID passport, agenda. So the COVID passport is what you get after you get the vaccine.
Well, you really get a piece of paper. That's
Piece
a
of
little
paper.
bit of card
They calling
size.
it. They calling it a passport.
Now, did you get the vaccine?
I did.
So,
If
was
you
it
had
a
both
card or a
doses,
piece of
or you
paper?
got the one dose.
I had two.
Okay,
Okay.
and you got the card.
Got the card.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like a piece of paper card, like how the DMV gives
Little
you
card, like a
Yeah.
little.
It's
Okay.
a little card.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright. So,
So-
you feel good about it.
Oh, I'm straight with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So that's pretty much the beginning, ending.
And so what do you think about the travel advisories and the escalation with that going on?
So for me, the whole COVID situation, which side of the table you fall on, is up to the individual and how they gonna move. It just depends on what you think. Do you really believe COVID exists? Some people don't believe COVID exists.
No, I
So,
believe something.
If you believe COVID exists
Stop now.
and you want to move around, my opinion is you need the vaccine. Because again, opinion. If you don't have a vaccine and you moving around and you get that you get that COVID, that virus. Now what?
Well, and I'm on the other side of the tracks.
Right.
And so, first of all, I feel like I had COVID prior to it was COVID. Before they called it COVID, we probably already had COVID. But anyway, I feel like the vaccine does not guarantee you not to get COVID. That's the first thing.
But it is not supposed to not. It's not
it
supposed to
claims
guarantee
it's gonna
you.
lower
It lowers your death rate.
your death rate.
But you can still pass it on to
Other
people.
people.
Yeah, you can
So which is
still-
some people are saying, let me go in and get the COVID vaccine. I saw a couple of things that came out saying, because it's not about me, it's about other people. But what those people need to understand is they also have to still wear a mask. You gotta take the same
I
precautions
can still
that you would
I can
take
still get
otherwise.
COVID. I can still give you COVID.
And the strands are not protected from
Right.
the new variants or any of some of the new strands, or not even all of the strands.
Right.
Now it is like it's like the flu. It's like getting almost like the flu shot as far as protection.
Let me tell you. Let's get off the formalities of it. Let me tell you what COVID has been to the black community. The COVID vaccine is like black men wearing rubbers.
Okay. I
The
see that
same
analogy. I see where you're going with
mindset.
that.
You know AIDS out here, women too. You know STDs out here. Guess what?
Well, it's also like they
You
want
don't
you
wear
to
rubbers.
take your kids. They want you to take your kids take your
So-
Gardasil shots, but they
So-
also
Yeah.
have studies that Gardasil is sterilizing the kids.
Or it makes you have
Yeah,
ovarian
so-
cancer.
And it's also like they tell everybody you should take the combo. Your baby should be taking measles, mumps, in the combo shot. And now we got all
All
these
these
studies
autistic
because
kids.
dyslexia, autism, and
All this
ADHD.
information is out here on the table. My thing is when people start to try to discredit the information to benefit themselves, and I make it simplify about it, the sex and the transmission of diseases through sex, because that's what we can understand easily. If you don't wear a condom, you can get somebody pregnant. Don't be mad once that person say I'm pregnant and you've been laying up with them. So and that's the mentality that we have. You'd be like, oh, I'm mad. What do you mean you mad? So COVID vaccine, same thing. You're not vaccinated, you're moving around, you catch COVID, that's on you. That's on you.
I hear you. I just don't. I don't personally agree with it.
Yeah.
So what
And
you
I'm
gonna
not-
what you gonna do?
The same thing I've
I've
been
been
doing,
doing-
social
yeah.
distancing.
I
haven't
said, if
been-
you catch it.
if I catch it, the same thing I did when we caught it in January.
And
Okay,
like
so-
you,
I got a strong immune system. We gonna fight off. The same thing I've done when we took the flu vaccine.
But that's
and caught flu.
accountability. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Accountability. You can't. What you just described is right. You taking accountability.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna
for
take
your
accountability.
you want to
action.
make sure that you're
And I'm
not giving it to somebody else. Like you take your. There's been a couple of COVID scares where
And
we've
we've taken
been
the
around
test.
people who've been like, all right, we taking tests and also made sure we were home. Don't go
Quarantine.
anywhere. You know, you
Right.
quarantine.
Yeah.
You do things because, like you said, accountability starts with you.
With
So
you.
I'm okay with I've been around people and I've gotten it myself. But where the it turns is I don't want to go and give it to somebody else. Like
Right.
that's for me.
Right.
So for me, I don't necessarily feel like the vaccine personally is going to stop that from happening.
And
So-
I just
And
want
that's
more
why I
data.
say,
Right.
that's what I'm
For
saying.
me,
Any
right.
person, you gotta stand on which side you
Right.
stand on.
And
you know?
then the other thing I think with the travel advisory too is that even if you have, and this is just currently, because this may change, but even if you do have the vaccine, when you go to another country or you decide to travel, they still reserve the right wherever you go to test you,
Oh, you gonna get tested.
regardless. So I
And you
just
can still
right
carry
now,
it back.
and you can still bring it back,
transmit it,
right.
And you
Yeah.
can still
And
get
you
it.
So
can't
there's no
come back,
sense
and you
of
can't
urgency
come
as
back
far as
into
I'm
the
concerned.
United States without being tested.
Right.
Once
When
you
you go
Vaccine
out
or
the
not,
country.
right? Vaccine or
Even
not.
now, I'm going to Hawaii. So we fly tomorrow to San Diego, and then we're going to the straight flights to Hawaii after that on Thursday.
Mhm.
So now with the travels to Hawaii, it's a whole like they only want certain places to test you.
They have to,
Walgreens,
yeah.
not the CVS drop. It's a whole list.
Right.
Then we're island hopping there. To island hop in there, I have to again take another test, but they give it in the airport there
Right.
to fly over. So I have taken, I'm not, I have taken tests. I was a bit on the fence, but we've taken multiple
Right.
tests with scares or I went to visit my parents. I made everybody take a test because they have health conditions. And my dad, even with heart problems, refusing to take the vaccine. What I feel fearful about the vaccine is because it's premature. It was rushed because of the pandemic and because where we're at with it.
Mhm.
And then you don't have enough advice. And I don't want to hear after I take something, Johnson & Johnson. Like, what about all the poor people that took that Johnson & Johnson one-day shot and then they recall it and say it's causing deadly blood clots? Like, so I don't, like that happened not even in 2 months.
Mhm.
So that's so quick, it's so premature. I'm never saying that I will never take it. I will be open-minded to take it. I just want more data in numbers, and long-term effects. Because I also say it's like chickenpox to shingles. I always say that.
Well, we don't know what the long-term effects.
You don't know what the
COVID,
long-term effect is.
COVID itself, we don't know what the
Yeah,
long-term
and that's
effects
what I
are,
was just about to
period.
say. That's
So,
kind of, we can go down that rabbit hole in
Yeah.
100 different ways.
Correct.
And still not get anywhere. Because
Yeah.
all that's just gonna be, all I'm saying is, and you explained it, both of y'all explained it, each individual gotta have accountability.
Right.
in
Take a
And that's
stand.
it.
Whatever side.
Now
they're
that part
gonna
of it,
go.
I agree
Yeah.
because I feel like that's the thing that makes it out of control.
You
as far as,
can't, you can't wild out, cause
Yeah.
again,
And then you're
y'all
going home
said
to your
COVID
elderly
exists.
parents. Yeah.
I can't just wild out, not be vaccinated, going whatever, and then go to my mama's
Right,
house.
not caring about yourself
Yeah.
is one thing,
Right.
but not caring
Right.
about the
Other
people
people.
around you
Correct.
as
As
a
a
whole,
whole.
and even
Right.
your children, because ultimately now the kids are going back into school. You're out here wilding out. You come home, you kiss your daughter. She has COVID that you transmitted to her. Now neither one of y'all have any symptoms, and now she's going to school and the teacher's
Right.
out for 3 years,
Right.
weeks, and
Right.
she's giving it to her kids and her So that is, I would agree with that because it can take an effect that you aren't. Unless you're self-aware and you're aware of your, that you have to have accountability for your actions,
That's
you
it.
don't realize how far it can go. And it could
can
kill
go
somebody
a long
else.
way, and in that process, you could kill somebody.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it's just
The
a lot
thing,
of.
so that's a 30-minute,
Oh.
how much time? Because
I'm
I
not-
know that wasn't an hour.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
no.
I'm not sure.
And
I'm
so
like-
there's just a lot of variables with that. So then in more hot topics or news,
Right.
we have a lot of shootings going on right now, or mass little rampages. So ever since the Atlanta shooting or
Right.
rampage that went on, we've had 50, did you know that?
Yeah.
50 more
Across the U.S.
Right.
across the U.S. have popped up.
Mhm.
Yes.
So we have not just a pandemic, but we have pandemonium.
Well,
when it
since
comes to-
2020, which hasn't, 2021, which started how many months ago? Not long, we're in, what, April now? So
Yeah.
January, February, March, April, 4 months, it's been 150 mass shootings since 2021, which literally just happened. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
What happened?
Nothing, go ahead.
What?
We getting high.
It didn't start yet. It didn't start yet.
Yeah.
That I knew that information. I'm on my,
No.
listen, I am ready to
Tell
make,
me what you gonna say, because I'm about to giggle.
say it.
That's what I'm about to say.
What?
Why you giggling?
She's giggling.
It's
We
getting
have.
heavy.
Because I'm very detail orientated right
No,
now.
because you was talking and smiling at the same time.
Oh, because it's
The giggles are back.
Yeah.
So we need to speed up so we can get off
Okay.
camera. Okay.
so
Carry on.
world carry on.
So, yeah, you got a lot of good information, but go ahead.
You're giggling. I'm smiling because you have a
Maybe
Kool-Aid.
maybe
You
because I
have
was
a
smiling.
Kool-Aid
I
smile
don't
right
know.
now.
I mean, you know.
I mean,
Drink
straight,
some rosé.
I'm drinking.
straight Kool-Aid. That your smile is serious.
All right. So we.
So I had no choice.
So we have
Okay.
I'm an energy person.
I get it.
We have a
I get
pandemic and a pandemonium.
it. In a
people.
pandemonium.
All
We
at
need
one
to-
time.
We really need to pray and figure out what is. We got some disgruntled, a whole
I
bunch
just
of
say, you
disgruntled.
know, we living in a time where we have to be vigilant. It's no longer, you know, my history, you know, I'm a survivalist, so I've been trained, so I do a lot of things from the perspective of survivalists. A lot of times when you hear a black man talk about he's a survivalist and you hear words like bug out bags and things like that, you think, oh, that's kind of weird. This is the time we're living in. You know,
Right.
when you walk into the store, regardless of how you feel, you need to know
What's going on?
what's
You need
going
to
on
pay attention
around
to your
you.
surroundings.
Absolutely.
and you need to pay attention. And also you need to understand anything can happen at any time today.
Correct.
Mhm.
We could be sitting here and an older woman could be out there
Absolutely.
being attacked by a big man, and
Right.
we have to figure out how we're gonna react. And that happens.
And it's a
So-
very tough decision to make on the spot as well because
Yeah.
you never really know what your position should be. Because you get persecuted for whatever you do, media wise and otherwise if it becomes that situation. But then also you're also in fear for your life because you don't know how far that situation can go.
I'm gonna
Yes.
tell you what happened to me. To your point, you don't know how you get persecuted. I went to Target. I parked next to a car. I get out of my truck. I look in the car. I see a sheep moving.
A sheep?
A sheep
Oh,
moving.
I'm like a sheep.
You know.
Why was there
I
a sheep
look in the
there?
car. It's a baby in the car seat.
Alone?
And I look around the parking lot thinking
ain't nobody in there.
maybe somebody just stepped out to talk to somebody or whatever. Nobody. There's a baby in this car, left in this car. So I'm looking, I see the baby moving. Again, when you get in these situations, you don't know how to move.
Yeah, because the parents
you
will
know-
come out and be volatile with you for minding their business.
Right.
Or
And
like
you
you
trying
said,
to
you
make
might
sure
be, they might be
people be
standing right
forgetting
there.
their babies in the car and they
Yeah.
die in the car.
Right. So fortunately it wasn't hot.
Was the window open?
The windows were up, everything. It wasn't hot, so I stayed with the car because I could see the baby moving. So I knew the baby was okay and the baby, you know, wasn't suffering or anything. I stayed with the car. I was out there at least 15 to 20 minutes, and the mother came out, and when the mother came out, this is what really made me mad about the situation. When I saw what she had in her butt. She had like ice cream. It was like some snacks.
It's the
It was
car.
not an essential item.
It was
Not
nothing
formula,
like
it
my
wasn't
baby's
diapers.
sick and I need to go in here and get
Motrin.
his prescription, and no, I had nobody, you know, because it could have been a situation where he's just coming from the doctor and I just had to go into this pharmacy and I'm gonna come right back out and I don't have anybody.
It's the car.
But you were in there buying ice cream.
That's the one.
And you know, so you know, I was kind of, because I was conflicted to what your point was. How do you react?
'Cause you
Or
don't-
did I react the right way? So I put it out a social media post, And, you know, people's
So
like,
did-
you
what
should have
did
called
she
the
say when
police.
she came
You
out?
should have. Oh,
Did she see you?
To your point, she
Nah,
tried to
she
buck
was
up against
combative.
me and get combative, you know, and I'm like, you know, I ain't want to call the police because
I think because
I'm
you don't want to
involved them and I'm a little sketchy.
Going into that,
Right.
is my hottest topic of the day. You don't want to call the police because they
You
might
don't know
come
what's
out
gonna
there and put a
happen.
neck, a foot.
I don't
No,
want to be
man.
involved
Well, you also
with
don't
it.
want to be
Right.
responsible for
Right.
a
And then
baby
you-
infant being in the system unnecessarily
But
if you don't know what's gonna happen.
That could be a situation, but you don't know when the police come, and unfortunately,
Right.
they're here to protect and serve.
Right. So
They-
Right.
You got
Yeah.
to be
And-
first.
and-
Gentlemen important.
and I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to go to court and be standing in court talking about what I saw and
But what if
Yeah.
they would have came out and murdered her or something in front of you, and
And then the baby was
I should
homeless.
never called the name.
Now you got a baby
Right.
that you didn't sign up
right.
for.
So yeah, so situations,
Why do we
you know,
always come up with the most extreme?
hey, situations.
No,
It is very true.
and you don't
Right.
you don't even know. So that moves us right
So
along
okay,
into our hottest
so she
topic.
comes out, right?
Yeah.
Do you say to her,
First of all,
How does the interaction
she
happen?
tried to move toward me like I didn't exist, like she didn't see me. You know, when I'm standing by the car, so you
She
know
saw you.
why I'm here.
So
You-
she knew she did something
She
wrong,
knew.
and she didn't want your judgment.
Yeah, she didn't want my judgment.
But she was wrong. Dead
Right.
ass
Right.
wrong.
Right.
Dead
Right.
ass wrong.
there's
Right.
a sign in Walmart? Wait, you at Target?
I was at Target.
Oh, well, they ain't got no sign in Target.
But it's
Walmart
still
has
dead
a
ass
sign.
wrong.
It is. She
Yeah.
knows
dead
better
ass
than
Yeah.
that.
And this baby probably was one. At
It
the
was a
most.
baby,
It was a
yeah.
baby. It was in a car seat in the back of the car
With a sheet over it.
with a sheet over.
And it's
Yeah.
very. Well, these young people different.
Yeah,
So they
she
just
wasn't that
different.
Was she young?
Oh, they were?
Like, was she young?
That was the
'Cause
other thing. She had to be at least late 30s, 40.
Okay, so she
30,
knew
40.
hell.
So she wasn't.
She
a
knew
girl.
way better than that.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that's what
Well-
that's what we have to deal with out here in society. You don't. I think you did the right thing.
You did.
I wouldn't have probably wanted to call the cops, but I would have wanted to stand there. Now I might have got, depending if I had one of these gummies or not, I
Right.
could have got jazzy. At
But
one
again, that's the other thing. Me being a black
Gummy would have
male,
not been a deciding
just
factor.
like
Trust and
you,
believe.
just like you just described, me being a black male, if I would have approached her aggressively, now the tables turned.
Now the
Yeah.
table
Now
would've
it's a
turned.
black
You would've been a
male
suspect.
aggressing
Yeah.
a female in the parking lot. That's the
Who
call.
left her baby in the
Right. That's nobody gonna say nothing about that part.
Right.
So whoever called the police gonna say it's a black
He's out
male
here acting a fool.
acting a fool with a female in the parking lot.
And
So
the cops gonna come like, depending where you at,
right.
where you reside, they're gonna come like gangbusters.
Yeah.
And you never know how that incident is going to escalate. So now, the biggest topic that we were gonna bring up
Mhm.
today is their challenge trial.
Right.
Mhm.
And the verdict has
The
now
verdict
come
has
in
come
with a
in.
guilty verdict.
3
And
counts of guilty.
3 counts of guilty. Now and it was a pretty quick verdict.
It was very quick.
Um,
It took the deliberation
What?
took about 10 and a
Quick
half
enough.
hours, which is a pretty significant amount of time. But I guess, under the circumstances, to make sure, and it was unanimous, which was a great
Which
thing.
was unanimous, which
Right.
was good. Mhm.
Um,
No dissent. Everyone it was in agreement, which was the right thing.
Yes.
But what we need to do now, just like we don't come out to the midterm elections, we have to do the follow up in 3 or 4 months when are they
8
resuming?
weeks. In 8 weeks, which is 2 months.
when they resume court, because
Right.
this is where the CBD kicked in. Just apologize. It's the THC.
So
This is where the fuckery begins.
it
Yeah.
does. And the other thing is this. Now, what I did was happy, or I don't want to say the word happy because a death is never any reason to be happy. The justice was served. So far, we do. Because I was on the fence. I felt like
The
I knew
justice is on its way. It's
on
not
its
served
way.
until
Well,
he
they
goes
did
to
give
jail.
him a guilty. They gave him a guilty, unanimously guilty, which was far better than we could have expected under the history of what has happened in the past.
Mhm.
So I was kind of concerned about that, and I did have shed a little bit of a tear when they did say guilty on 3 counts because I felt like, thank God,
We finally
we
have
finally
some
have had some
just-
movement.
or some
Yeah, some progression because it was a cut and dry situation.
some fairness, I would say, was displayed.
Right.
Some what
We
justice
finally been
system
heard.
stands for.
Right.
Liberty and equality for all is what it's supposed to represent.
Well, we don't. We
Okay,
still.
let me. I'm
still-
gonna play devil's advocate a little bit. Was it fair, or was it my hands was tied so tight behind?
I feel
my
like
I think it was
my
an
hands
example.
was
I think it was an
tied.
example.
I feel
They
like
had
it was
to.
the house person that come, the house Negro that gets the Django.
He
It
was made an
what was it
example
good?
of.
Was it
He
Samuel
had to
Jackson
be-
was in the house?
He
He
had
had
to
to
be.
be sacrificed.
Well,
He had
especially
to
under
be
the
sacrificed.
circumstances of what,
Under
as of what
the
just happened.
Because if I
But
pull
because
my
I'm
gun and shoot you,
Right.
those cases are
Brushed under the rug.
brushed under the
And
rug.
it happens all the
He
time
killed a person,
with his knee. On
what
camera.
I say, physically with
Right.
his niece on camera.
And I still don't feel the charges, his charges should have been first degree, if anything, a
You-
manslaughter. But I almost feel him and the other young lady clearly, and I indicated this
That
last
was
week,
a mess.
I'm 100%, she was premeditated. It's nobody saying,
You're talking about
taser, right before you shoot somebody.
set it up.
That's a
Done
set
set it
up.
up.
I've been
Yeah.
places
Well, that
know
was
what
just
you're
her
saying.
reaction to knowing she was on a
You
dash
on camera,
cam
you know what
and-
she's gonna do.
You're a 20-year.
Vet.
better, 26 years.
26.
And you know
know
damn
30
well.
year vet.
And first of all, the taser and the gun are
Are
two
two
different
so-
sides.
So
Even
here,
who was-
pick up this.
Yeah, you know the
Okay.
difference between the
Now
weight.
pick up this.
You know the difference.
They weigh differently,
But
right?
Well, especially if you do it every day for 30 years.
Even the white
Come on now.
pastors, it was a white pastor, I gotta find him on here. It's an older gentleman. He even came like real old, like Bible Belt, deep Southern. Angela Rye had him on her page. So you like,
So even the gun, the handle of a handgun,
it's totally different
It's
than a taser.
long- longer
Straight across, yeah.
and it's narrower in your hand.
And it's heavier.
And the grip is different. It's heavier. So it's so, and then when you're holding a taser, you see all that yellow versus all black. And if you see that video, she has a whole, I don't know how many seconds, when she just standing there talking about taser, I'ma tase you. You see that black, so
Who's this? Pat. He's really old school, but he even was like, that's not. And there's a lot of, I mean, it's just common sense.
I mean,
and now with social media, you can see,
Yeah.
who is he? Pat what?
I don't see it, but I see where they're.
Yeah, that video, it's on Angela Rye page.
Yeah, and this man
It's like a minister.
he's not only that, he's like a big.
Wasn't he the one
Almost
that
white
was the...
supremacist.
Yeah,
Right.
right. I didn't want to say. I'm
He's
trying
almost
to.
like a
I'm
white
like,
supremacist.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
He is,
Yeah,
right?
But he
yeah.
came
I
out.
was going
And
to
he was
say
like,
he was...
Yeah, I didn't want
He's
to.
pro...
Right.
Listen,
He's
she's
pro...
Yeah, he on the other side.
Yeah, he
Way
got
on
no
the other
reason
side.
to help us.
Right,
But,
right.
but it just, enough is enough.
Well, there
And
have
we
been a
can
lot
see
of
it.
those people as well that came out in during this trial and have said things as well. Police officers, there have been people that were trainers. There was a sheriff that trained people for 30 years and was like, listen,
Mhm.
there's no way that could have happened.
Right.
There's no way.
It was
There's no way.
insane.
Right.
It was, they had and I really wish they would have highlighted more details about their relationship with each other prior. They worked together for years in the club. Derek was a bouncer in
so-
the same club that the police officer
Uh,
moonlighted or had that second I'm a cop walking around with my big guns
Okay.
job at. And they've had conflicts at that club,
club, so
several
they knew who
times.
he
They
was.
knew each
He
other.
recognized
This
him
was not
specifically.
a random.
My
Stop.
my question is, and this is what I've been asking people: if we go back and we look at all these incidents, how does a traffic stop escalate to your death?
No way
And
that
one-
young man, and he was not fleeing the scene. That young boy, they
Well,
were
they-
killing
Even
our
if
children.
he did, let's go on
It
the deep
disclosed
end.
now that
Let's-
the reason and a traffic stop, there's several different types of traffic stops. You can get stopped because there's smoke coming out the windows. You can get stopped for speeding. You can get stopped for doing something that is a moving violation or something that you know is probable cause for something to be wrong. This man got stopped because he had an air freshener in his window.
Right.
That was the
And
cause
that's
for them
Mitchell.
stopping.
So-
Is his, what's his last? That's Mitchell. What's his name? That was
The
on-
what we're talking about,
Dante.
Dante, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying. All these incidents where these gentlemen, young men, have been killed
For no reason.
were simple traffic
Well,
violations.
they're also not
or
anything.
misdemeanors.
They're
These
not
are
being
because-
charged with those things. So the bigger thing for me is that these are things that you, as a human individual, just witnessed,
Right.
or things that you in your mind said, "Oh, this is something that," and you had some level of emotion towards whatever the situation is, or towards that person, because you took it to a level that didn't need to happen.
Right.
fleeing the scene or not. You're a police officer, you say stop
And
or
you're
whatever.
trained.
And
Even,
you're
even
trained.
with the, even with the case here, at the Wendy's,
Mhm.
this officer
Right,
had contact with him, and I'm alleging, because the numbers may not be correct, but at least 30 minutes of contact.
Right.
So if I'm talking to you for 30 minutes, we're gonna have some kind of rapport.
Oh, when the boy
That's a
I'm-
long time.
when he won the fight and they got
and,
upset.
and he
'cause they got
ran
worked.
and he ran away.
Right.
So in 30 minutes, I should have looked at you. And I'm an officer. Remember we talked about.
We would assess the
we
situation.
I assess your body language. I'ma know whether you're a threat or
And
not.
those body cams was
With-
on.
And it doesn't
take
that long to figure
But
that
it
out.
don't take that
It
long to
doesn't take
figure.
that long to figure that out.
If you're armed or if I done frisked
That
you,
boy was not.
I done
that
talked to
boy
you
was-
for 30 minutes.
He was totally. They antagonized him and escalated. They were looking for a
If
reason
you hold
to
me for
escalate it.
30 minutes, you're looking for something.
Right, and you don't have
It's-
probable cause. You're
it's-
detaining me unlawfully.
Yeah,
Either you're going to
yeah.
charge me or you're going to release me. But we also need not just police reform, we need education. We need minority and just
But
regular
even,
education
even with
on
the
the law.
education on us, and here's the problem that I have. If you get pulled over, you get stopped, you on the streets. It's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 8 o'clock a.m. You and that officer,
It's one-on-one.
It's
You don't got
one-
nothing.
you don't have, you can know all, you can say, officer, my rights is, I don't have to give you my license. You can know that.
Just like that corporal in Virginia.
My
That's
point-
little totally ridiculous.
This man said,
Mhm.
okay, if you know anything about the military, anytime you see a soldier wearing his uniform, that means he just can't wear that uniform to the store.
Yeah, he's
He
on duty.
has to be
They're
on
doing
duty.
it.
He's either leaving
Or-
the base
or
or
going
he's
to
on
the-
his way to the base.
Right.
Everybody knows that. He ain't just out lollygagging around.
And he's
so
disciplined. He's been through training. They did bear calls.
Yeah.
You know, they
So-
made him make his bed in a certain tuck the
so
corners
you
tight.
notice, and not only you
And
notice.
they speak
They teach
respectfully
them
as well.
discipline
And that's
and
the thing that
respect.
got me with that, because I said to myself, okay, so not only is a military trained person just automatically going to be a very respectful and trained,
Right.
speaking individual, but when they're in uniform, they're in character.
Right.
So for me, I'm like, how
And-
did
and
that
I
go
think he was
left?
like a lieutenant.
A lieutenant.
So,
He
so
was
he
a
has
lieutenant.
rank. So not only that,
And he said it.
he's not trying to mess up his
You're right.
situation and his
No.
rank. So
Not at
he
all.
don't want no trouble. He's telling you all this, and he's got his hands out the window. So again, going to doing what's right
Right.
still can lead you down a rabbit hole.
We need police reform. We have states like Baltimore. We have a lot of states now that are pushing. Even Republicans, staunch Republicans, are pushing for police reform. Do I think we should disband the police? No, I don't believe that. Because I need the police. I like our sheriff. I like Sheriff Levitt. I like
Right.
this county. Even though we've had certain little incidents, overall, I do like this county. I had a home invasion in this county, and I still support the county. I love our tax commissioner, Tisa Washington, and Sherry Washington, and the commissioner, and I like this county
Mhm.
overall. I was a little
I think
off
And
with
what
the
you're
home
saying,
invasion.
it makes perfect sense, and yes. But I think specifically in Minneapolis, we need to definitely dissect and jump into
That
what's going
force
on
needs to be
specifically
totally
there.
revamped.
Because there's no way on this planet that there is going to be a trial being held specifically for an officer using excessive
And
force,
this
which
26-year-old
resulted in
man.
killing somebody.
And the
And
vet
the
does something.
Sunday before they're supposed to do the verdict, a young boy gets killed
Yeah.
with
There's
the same
definitely
mean. It
reform.
makes so for me. I'm like, we can
Why
say
is-
what we want to
why
say.
is why to me again? Why is a traffic stop so vital?
Even a warrant.
A
Because
warrant.
they tried to say that.
But
They-
These
even
are
a
these are
warrant.
misdemeanor.
These are misdemeanor warrants.
So these aren't even felony people
And
working
you
with.
would never
and
be
you don't
punished
know
in
that when
court
you
like
stop
that.
the This is the other thing. You don't know anything about the person when you stop them. You have no idea.
Right.
So the disgruntledness and the emotion and whatever it is that drove you to such crazy, reaction was in you before that even happened. That was just your
And
defense
that's where I feel like it
mechanism
was
behind the actions that you
premeditated.
had.
She knew
I
how
think that
she
too.
was going to
Absolutely.
You got
escalate
some of
that
these-
fire to the
But
side.
to me,
You
I
got
feel
some
like
of these
this.
officers
How is she
waiting for their
possibly-
shot.
Right.
Yeah,
Waiting
like,
for
I
their
done,
opportunity.
look, I done
That's
been
insane.
when we was young, we done went out and been like, I'm on ready. Let somebody.
But
Right.
you were not.
She was on ready.
Right,
She
you
came
were,
ready.
but she was definitely on ready.
Now, I
But
can quickly be on ready now, but
right,
she was
okay. I was like, that's two different readies now.
But
the on ready we
she
was on.
on ready
Yeah.
when she stopped him. She already had planned, and then her execution of filing for retirement to get her full benefits. It's almost
Well,
like she wanted to go out on disability.
Well, she
and say,
quit.
No,
She
what
resigned
got me
the day
was
before they picked her up.
even in the video, she was like,
Oh shit.
oh, I think I shot him. I think I
She
shot him.
was
She said,
so premeditated
oh
to
shit,
me.
I think I shot him. And I'm
It
like,
was more like,
that to me
it was more
very
like,
recorded.
oops. And anybody knows anything about weapons with a 40 caliber firearm, if I shoot you center mass at that distance, that's a kill shot.
And that's what
Exactly.
they're
And
shooting.
you don't
to
take the
kill.
people
So
They're not
it's
shooting
not-
to hurt.
Yeah.
It's not, oops, I
No.
shot him. It's, I just killed him.
Right.
You know, he's not just shot because
No, he's dead.
you're literally within 12 inches of this person when you pull
And
the
that's
trigger.
not what you would take.
Now
Yeah.
we are on the chessboard now, and
Mhm.
we are moving off the pawn grid, and now we're getting closer to a checkmate. We do have some progress with this verdict. Now I want to see the play. I want to see the full play.
the
He gotta
missing
he gotta
piece
get
that
those
sentencing.
75 years.
Well, the
He
other
need to
thing
get
about
the
that is
whole
this.
time.
I was just telling a friend of mine about
There's
that.
a missing piece of all of this. So now in 1 week they have to come back because there are some other things that the judge wants to hear for sentence. So sentencing is going to happen in 8 weeks. But there's I think it's called CPT, and somebody can correct me
He
if
wants
that's
to give
wrong.
him some type of
But he wants to,
forgiveness or waiver.
no, not forgiveness or waiver, but also how not only did you impact this man's life by killing him and taking him out of this world, but also now there was a 9-year-old child that was at the scene that saw this happen, who's gonna have some trauma
All
behind
the
that.
people that was
All
there.
the people that
Yeah.
witnessed this,
Yeah.
the girl that took the video.
All of us
That
should get a
people-
check. We watched
Well,
it
I was just about to
over
say,
and over.
everybody's probably up
I
to-
mean, I was very misty when I was, I almost broke out into tears because I said to myself at the
When
point.
he called his mother, I was
No,
like,
but at the verdict,
Ugh.
I was very, it was an emotional thing because now you're watching the family watching the verdict. You're watching people out there watching the verdict. They had this one girl, and I don't remember her name, but she was very articulate and very impactful. She said and this stuck with me, this is gonna stick with me forever. They employed the National Guard to be on ready to come to this scene in case something happened, which means there was a possibility that this man was about to get acquitted because he did ask for that to
it's
happen.
fuckery. Mhm.
Right, for some bullshit. We on CBD so we can say bullshit. Some fuck. Oh, you said fuckery. That was way worse than bullshit.
Fuckery.
But she said you couldn't even secure the nation's capital. So for you to do that for us for asking for peace was some nonsense,
Yeah.
which I felt wholeheartedly.
That
Now Biden
definitely.
went on screen
Maxine Waters
talking
and
about he hopes that they come to the right decision. They try to scrutinize that by saying that he shouldn't have said that. Now, I don't feel like Biden was putting input in on the actual case.
he was saying that he hoped they come
He
to the
was,
right
but he was,
decision.
for me, he was speaking from a place of the family and all the people that were
He
impacted
was
by the
speaking,
thing.
he was
Not
telling
specifically
the
trying
light
to
of God
sway
in
the-
his spirit.
Right, and not trying
Despite
to
all
sway
his
the
color.
case.
He did
Right,
something
that's
we
right.
hadn't seen in a president in 4 years.
Ever. Right,
Yeah.
We
right.
definitely ain't seen that.
Oh,
before.
we've seen.
But it's right and right,
So.
right is
And
right, and
Maxine
wrong
Waters,
is
like
wrong.
you just said,
And
right.
Maxine Waters, I just want to see the real justice when the verdict comes out in 8 weeks.
Will
You
they
gotta-
take that stuff into
He gotta get-
consideration?
he gotta
They're
get
saying
them
40
75
years.
He
What they
needs
said
to get
originally,
them.
because of what he got charged for, the maximum was 40 years. The 75 years comes in because once they take these other things into consideration, the daughter, the family, that it was actually publicized, so
But-
we all are gonna
but
get
I
a
was about
chance
to
to
say,
see that.
Do you know how that affected
Us.
Everybody.
We literally watched. It wasn't a
It
movie.
kills a
It was
spirit.
We
It
watched
spirit kills
a
us.
man get
Murdered
killed.
live.
Most millions of people in America can now say, I've seen a man get killed. I've seen
and
a
then
murder.
repeatedly.
Most people couldn't say, I've seen someone get killed.
No.
You know, so that's
And it was repeatedly. So now we not only did we see the actual fact, now I made the choice of showing it to my son because I felt like it was a good teaching moment, and I know he had heard about it and there was stuff going on. So I said I had always been getting on him about not wearing a hood outside, telling him about Trayvon Martin. We only had conversations and things to tell him about it. I watched the video. It brought me to tears, but I thought it was something very vital for me to show to him only because I wanted him to know how important it is and how you have to be aware, like we talked about before, and that you don't have to be doing anything. So I made the personal choice to do that, and my reaction to him watching it alone was crazy. So imagine now George Floyd's daughter has to watch this. They're directly connected to
forever.
this. The brother broke down. Even a gentleman, they had an older man there.
That was there.
He lived, I think, like next door or something like that. And he happened to be driving by and saw it. And he related on so many levels that George Floyd was calling to his mother.
That was sickening.
Yeah.
And the man was like, I lost my mother too. So that alone, him saying that alone was enough for me to,
But look at
be upset.
the cry for the people that was there.
Right.
So this is where we are with the whole policing. You literally standing there seeing a police officer do something wrong, and you afraid to even step in because you
Don't know if they're gonna do it to
don't know if
you.
they're gonna do it.
And
to
that's
you.
where
threatening you.
You're
The
gonna
Target
get a-
parking lot and all
you-
those things.
now,
So you don't
if
know
that-
how
if
it's gonna
Well, he
anybody-
was also being threatening
If
by
it-
saying to that one gentleman.
If anybody would have
you know-
pushed him off, and now you're being charged.
But you know
now
what?
you're a criminal.
That
now
for me
you,
is where now I'm gonna say this because this is how I feel. If I'm somewhere with you and me and you are ride or die, and I see you about to make the mistake of your life because you're kneeling on somebody's leg, because of the love that I have for you or because I know that this is something wrong, I'm going to be like, listen, this is not what we came here to do.
No killer.
You're about to lose, because that's a whole nother situation. Whether I felt something for George Floyd or not,
Right is
being
right and wrong is
a
wrong.
comrade or of somebody else leaves me with the responsibility of being like, listen,
And that's where I feel
We
like
should-
all the other officers that were present.
well, that's their responsibility.
that's the other
Should
thing.
have- that would've been
civilians,
Even as an
right?
officer-
Civilians may not have wanted to say
You
it.
have a duty
They
to
should.
protect
And that's
and
where
serve.
I'm conflicted when you say
Right.
when you have officers are saying, well, all cops aren't bad. Okay, yeah, all cops
But we
aren't
need
bad.
to prosecute
But
the ones that are.
If you in that for me, I know who I am.
Right.
And if I was an officer in that situation,
That was not.
there was no way.
You can't
If
have
that
you
meant
stand
me
there.
losing my job,
We would have had to go
I
to
would've-
IA.
You would've
on
figured it
that.
out later.
I
We
would've
would have
had
been
to
in
get
internal
money.
affairs.
I wouldn't have been an
that.
officer anymore after that day.
And then on
because-
top of that, for me, the cameras, that's another thing I thought about. I'm like, okay, so morality we already know is out the window. We know that already. But you also know y'all are being taped. Just like the whole,
Yeah.
we also know, just like with the whole taser thing, for me, you also know somebody standing in your face with a camera. You don't care.
You don't care. You
And
don't-
then
And
you're
that's
being,
where I
not
feel-
only you being filmed, but you're being,
But that's where their
Taped.
relationship is connected. There should have been some more,
That's too much.
but we can't even be real about that when we go to court. We have to stick to areas that could help us win, and they did win the verdict. But we can't even be real with that. There was a connection between those two men.
Right.
And that was very premeditated. There was something, and they've had arguments prior to that
Yeah.
at work. That was totally premeditated.
Yeah.
And it was totally unwarranted. It was uncalled for. The malice and the anger that Chauvin had to have in his spirit.
Yeah.
and
do
then it
this.
wasn't his first
I
incident,
tell
was the
you-
other thing.
I
That
tell
wasn't his first
people
incident.
like this. So we talked about me being a spy. I'm a hunter. So I hunt deer. Okay. Anytime I shoot a deer, there's a certain feeling that comes over me, and that's a deer that I'm gonna eat and harvest. Okay. Just imagine killing a human being
even when, so Kelly
You-
was on, Native American.
Yeah.
Was on, and she talked about the Native American culture.
Yeah.
So that's my cousin, we talked about the Native American culture. Even in hunting,
Yeah,
in the original Native American land, when you hunt,
right.
you pray over that deer.
Right.
You pray over his family. You pray over that prey.
Well, it's something that's
It's
mandatory for
it's-
survival,
it's
not
a-
something that you're doing
Correct.
because you're just
Right.
But
an evil
it's
person
a
and you
Right.
cleansing of
person
the
to suffer.
spirit
It's
and a
still
It's two
connection.
a
different things.
connection, and it's
Yeah.
still a feeling you have when you see that animal
Oh,
fall,
it's kicking in.
or you see that animal laying on the ground. And that's what I tell people. People always
I
come
was
to
about to
me
go left because I
and
was gonna say, I
say,
don't feel anything. We should probably eat another one.
and say,
That's how I go left, guys.
people always,
On camera.
you know, they'll say,
Give me my check.
I got, can I have the check? Cause I gotta go. I don't want my food. Make it
Yeah,
rain.
there you go.
No,
Do your
oh,
thing.
don't do it.
Do you?
How would they know?
Around.
How would they know?
Who's driving yours? Pick us up around.
Please.
So,
We've gone over the deep end.
so you like people ask, you know, should I
Ooh, this one tastes like-
buy a gun
this
or
one
should I
tastes
have a
like
gun?
sweet.
And I tell people, I say, look, let me explain this to you.
Wait, can you repeat that
Should
last
people
part?
have a gun?
Oh,
So
should they?
when
Okay.
people ask about should I buy a gun, because now that's the big thing.
Okay.
Everybody want to go out and buy a gun, and I say this:
Should they
the
buy a
responsibility of gun ownership is huge, because you got to ask yourself, could you
Mhm.
kill someone?
If I had to, I would.
You say that,
No, I promise you.
but
Give
you've
me
never
camera.
been in a situation, and I'll tell you my experience. I've been
Do you
around.
mean, wait, before you get into that, do you mean, could I kill somebody, like,
In protection
I
of
ain't
myself.
talking about somebody.
Is that the question
going-
you asked?
I ain't talking about somebody. You know, everybody has the mindset.
I'm asking you, what's your
it-
view,
it-
what's your vision of could I,
Listen, I'm
kill
talking about
somebody?
within your legal, you being raped and
Oh
somebody.
yeah,
Could I
definitely.
do it?
And
Could I
could
do
you
it?
do
Yeah,
it?
that
Okay.
100%.
okay.
I hear you. What you saying?
I'm telling you.
Listen,
yes.
listen to my
Is
experience.
it my life against theirs? Yes.
Okay, I hear
Is
what
it
you
my
said. I
kids?
hear people say that. Okay, so I've been around guns all my life.
Mhm.
All right, this was back when I was single. So I lived in this house. I had this extensive alarm system in the house. All right, I like darkness, so I have blackout shades and
I'm
the
with you
whole
on
thing
that.
down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm single. So I'm in this house. If you come to my house, it's dark. Not even the light from the alarm clock. It's dark. And I'm asleep. It's 2, 3 in the morning. I hear the smack. So I got the sound, the shatter sound. So the fucking alarm just goes off. I jump up. I jump up. I'm so discombobulated and so confused, and it's dark.
Yeah.
So, and in my mind, I'm like, who the fuck is in here? And
What do they
then
want?
Might as well finish the rest of the
this a whole house. I'm in here by myself. I'm like, okay, where could they be? And you know, and I find myself, I'm not even going. This is how crazy it was. As much as I've been around guns and training with guns, I ain't even grabbed a gun.
Now
What,
let me
you gonna
just-
fight?
let me
I
just
went looking for.
You were gonna fight?
I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Did
I
you
went trying
have
to
some
figure
CBD
out.
before you
This
went?
was
Let me explain
this was
something to you.
before then.
I had the home invasion in 2011.
Yeah.
I was opposed to the guns because fear for the kids touching the guns. So all the babies were little. I was expecting my last, my youngest son is 9 now. And Pastor Lee here at Springfield, Father God, apologized for any F-bombs that had dropped out of my mouth, but that's my pastor. He came and he prayed over the house, you know, after that. And he asked me, off cuff, if I had, how did I feel about guns in the house? And I said we didn't have any guns. And he asked me, do I feel that if I had guns, it would have been different? And I said, yes, but it still would have been horrible. Why? Because I would have killed their ass if they would have came in my house messing around with my kids. And I'm ready
Right.
for their ass if they come back. Because I got a 12 gauge and I'm not going to look for shit. This ain't
Right.
the spooky movie where the people
Right.
be like, oh, Johnny,
Right.
are you ever
Right.
right here? No,
Right.
I'm gonna be sitting right in that room, and I'm coming through the drywall on your ass. The kids
Good.
know what to do, and we going in the bathroom, and
Right.
I'm gonna beam on your ass if you come over my house again.
Right.
And I'm coming through the drywall. Once you hear that ching, if you one of my kids, you was visiting and you came in the garage by accident and they didn't tell me, you better get your ass out of that hallway, because I'm coming through the drywall on your ass.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I said that, and I always share these stories with people because, just to make people think. You have to have a plan, like
No,
I
you
said.
do.
Like
You
I
have
talk to
think
my
of it.
kids.
And I think it happens, it also is.
That forced me to
That
have, but I
makes you
still
have
would
to
have,
write.
I said
You
it
do.
still would have been tragic, because somebody else's kid would have been
don't
deceased
care
in my house.
No.
But you
if
know what
come
I
in
do, because that's for
unwanted-
somebody's mother. Even a young man asked for early release, and I don't agree with that. He needed to serve his time, he shouldn't have never came to my damn house. But I sympathize with his mother, because she lost a son to the system. Unnecessarily, and you shouldn't. I wouldn't want to
in
kill.
turn-
But if it comes to
In
that,
turn,
you out
you
here,
could
buddy.
lose a kid, right?
You out
I,
here.
I have a friend of mine who, on Thanksgiving Day here in Georgia, spent maybe 8-9 years
Definitely, I like the
ago.
rose better than that.
Yeah,
Snoop,
rosé.
send me some rose.
8-9 years ago, Thanksgiving Day, parents came up to visit. They left early, okay? She was in the house. They thought everybody was gone. They came into her house. She hid in the closet, and they killed her. So,
Yeah, if you have to
and it,
defend
and
yourself.
it ended up
You
being,
also don't know what you're dealing with.
it
This
ended
is the
up
thing.
being kids, and she lived in a nice neighborhood, and it ended up being kids from her
And
neighborhood.
that's what I was gonna
Conyers,
say.
that
But
kill
then
the
this is the
kids.
other
Yeah.
thing about that for me. You never really know what you're dealing with either.
Mhm.
Because you don't know if it's just a kid that's coming into your house that really doesn't have any arms and they just come in there. You have no choice.
Like
But
I
you-
always,
That's a risk you can't take.
today,
Because you don't know,
that I
especially when
sit
you
here,
have kids in your house.
I don't have time to figure out whether
No,
you're 12
nor is it your job.
or 43.
And really,
Nor
no,
is it your
because
job.
if you come up in my house, if you come up in the kitchen, you better be able to stand the heat. And
Right.
I'm coming at you hot. And it's gonna be a survival of the fittest. And that's the
I
bottom
don't
line.
have
to
time
that.
to
I don't
wait
have
and
time.
figure
Ain't
out.
no
You
negotiation
don't.
on
Nobody has time for that because it could be
And
that
that's
one
why
second
I
when
don't
you
got-
get killed.
I don't
It
got
is.
time for needing my glasses. That's why I got a beam for your ass. I don't got time. When the knock comes to the steel door, boop, 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 I ain't gonna be looking around the house like Susie be walking around the house. Oh, you in the basement? Nah. If they in the
Who's Susie?
basement,
Oh.
whoever, well, they in the basement,
I'm
gonna
like,
be
who's
Susie?
She the name is Susie.
I'm like,
You know how
Becky?
You know how
you
this
know,
scared
you know
people-
Susie
I
ain't
said, who
doing
the hell
shit.
is
now.
Susie?
Susie ain't doing shit.
Right. I was like, we done named Karen Susie now.
You done killed Susie. Yeah.
Susie's ass dead.
Now I think I needed my check.
Check. Okay, so moving right.
Check,
What
please.
time? We're at 8:41, so we're well over the.
So,
although we thank you guys so much because I see there's so many of you still on, so we must be entertaining the hell out of y'all.
But we don't want you to miss verses.
But we don't want you to miss verses. So tonight, Redman and Method Man, it started at 8 o'clock, but you can still catch it on YouTube.
And they
are
probably
doing
getting high.
they're high as shit.
High as shit.
They've been getting high all day because I watched it at 9 o'clock this morning. They had a little, little promo thing.
Tell the people how
They
y'all
was high
feel.
then. How do we feel?
I feel like I need my
Are we
check.
There you go.
Are we yelling, guys?
You yelling.
We are?
Hear yourself talking.
Very much so.
Somebody's phone ringing.
Somebody's phone is ringing. Who's calling?
Somebody iPad.
Why is
Now,
my son
hang up.
calling? God damn it.
So we need our check.
He knows he
we
better.
don't want to be hostage before we start acting the fool.
There you go.
It was
I'm
a
using
great
the iPad.
show. I definitely encourage you. 2 reasons to come to the American Shaman
Good
Congress.
evening. Hi.
Business opportunities, and that can instruct you and help guide you through
Mom.
this process.
Oh, Mom
Maybe
said
you
hi.
can
She gave us
franchise.
all those
Hey,
words.
Mommy.
Hey, Mom. We see. We're acting a fool. You might have to come pick us up.
You really?
Are you for real?
home?
Just
Come
be
be
us.
on your way. Conyers,
come.
American Shaman.
Right next to Popeyes. You know where?
Popeyes. I don't see no
Popeyes is right there.
It's the no.
It's in
it's
the next shop.
Jacqueline. What is that
I'm
shit?
looking at the KFC.
Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness.
Mom, come get us.
Come get us, Mom.
Please.
Say
So
you
we
first
have a
for my
couple
damn
other things that
self.
we have to discuss real quick and then we can go. We wanted to just, so we read Man and Method Man, check it out. We got to go watch that. It's going to be lit. The other thing we wanted to say was, and we can get the music ready for.
We want to give our condolences to Again, DMX family.
Yes, DMX's family, absolutely. Because
No, we gotta go to.
we're going to Black Rob.
Black Rob, I don't,
Oh, that's Malcolm Valley. We can say something about him
That's
too.
iTunes.
well, it's on the phone, that's
Okay.
okay, so.
Okay.
we don't have to
So we
stay-
also
we'll
want
stay
to
with
say
what we got.
condolences to Scottie Pippen. His son was
Yes.
pronounced dead. We still have not figured out what the reason was, and that was a perfect song for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So peace to Scottie Pippen because straight out of weed. And then we have to. Black Rob was also in the midst of all this DMX stuff because he is a little bit more relevant in the world right now.
Like
He
whoa.
He was also pronounced dead on Sunday, I want to say it was. He had some kidney problems, which hasn't been the autopsy report, but going forward we'll see. But if anybody from up top knows the song Whoa, so we are gonna go out with Black Rob's Whoa,
I'm gonna put on my phone.
Yeah,
and we are going
Cause
to
I don't have the controls over here. so-
Okay, so y'all gotta wait a second.
So we got Black
Sit
Rob.
one
We
more
gonna be able to hear. We got the lapel mics
We
on.
got the lapel mics on.
In respect of grown men.
Yes.
Well, let's give a moment
Well,
of
we
silence.
can talk about that too as well.
Let's give a moment of silence for
Okay.
Black Rob
Okay.
and DMX.
And
We've
DMX.
we've had a lot. And then Scottie Pippen's son,
And
regardless what happened.
and Ron Pippen.
So we're gonna leave that. I wish we.
And Tron.
If we was outside, we could pour a little
We can
wine
pour a little
around.
wine.
We can't do that in here. This is a nice floor. But we just, our condolences are with the family. We up top girls, we
Oh,
Jersey, New
okay.
York
I thought
girls.
we were.
He was
You was
He's been praying
Okay,
this whole
pray.
time.
Let's pray. Let's pray.
I thought that
He
was.
was
Pray us,
praying
pray
this
us.
whole time.
I thought that's what we were doing.
It's the THC kicking in.
We can't do a whole minute though, because we ain't got time for
That's
all of
it.
that. But that was a moment
So,
of silence.
We definitely want to give a moment of silence to Black
So
Rob.
in the meantime, while you pull up the Black Rob song, let's talk about this concert that you went to this weekend.
So
You might enjoy this comment.
vaccine or not, I went out. I went to a fabulous wedding to my girl
Peace,
Kelly.
Kelly. Congratulations.
That is now Kelly Wilkins, married to Gerald Wilkins. This Friday was beautiful.
Yay.
Her attire
Love.
was amazing. The tux was amazing. I'm gonna have to shout out the gentleman that designed the
And people
outfits.
still
It was
get
great.
married, so love still exists.
Black
so.
love exists.
Yay.
So that was great. So I went to that wedding Friday. So then Sunday, I was invited by my girl, Hot Atlanta PR. Hot Atlanta PR. Invited me to the Keith Sweat concert. And
Keith Sweat and Friends.
It wasn't Keith Sweat.
It wasn't
concert.
really his
It
concert.
was
It's Genuine, wasn't it?
The THC is kicking in. It was
Genuine's concert.
Tank concert, and
Keith
RL
Sweat.
from Next.
Keith
And then
Sweat,
Keith Sweat and
Bobby
Bobby Brown
Brown.
popped up, and Pleasure P.
Pleasure P.
Okay.
And my number one takeaway from the concert was, even you got on your hair too. How old are you, said?
48.
So 48.
She said
These
that.
dudes is in their 50s, 51, 52, 48. They got all their hair and all their waves on slim. They still look like, Keith was begging and all that on the stage.
So they
And
kept their youth
Genuine was
Still do it.
doing the pony and all
But you
that.
know what's the biggest thing that is appreciated with more mature gentlemen is they don't got time for the bullshit. Like they ain't fuck niggas. Like they just
She
on
said
some.
fuck
They
niggas.
ain't
There's a
fuck
lot of
niggas.
fuck niggas out here.
There's a lot
I'm
of fuck
sorry, I
niggas out here.
apologize.
There is. There's a fuck nigga convention somewhere.
Yeah.
Fuck
And they're
niggas.
just figuring out how to fuck around
It's a
town.
fuck
It
nigga
is full.
Masonic
That's
class.
so right. They just sign up. They just on their phone, signing up through Instagram, just tweeting all the shit, and it's bull. It's nonsense.
Mommy, come get us.
Mom,
Sips.
can you
He
see
was
what's
like a
happening?
little mess.
So, in your opinion, from a mature gentleman's
Now you about
standpoint,
to get me in trouble.
never,
Go ahead.
never,
Go ahead.
not my area of
It's some
expertise.
straight fuck
I got an
But-
answer for this. Go ahead.
but-
Go ahead.
Okay.
Are more mature men,
I respect
more.
the grown man shit.
Well,
that
I
they
think
brought
the
to
grown man
concert.
shit, right, and it's very strategic. Like, we don't have all the time. We're not gonna play around with you. We're not text messaging
We
you.
halfway there.
Are you gonna
The
come out
Bible
with me
says
to
7
dinner?
years.
Are we
So
going
you're
to
talking
get?
about
Yes. You're the
different
perfect person for this
generation.
conversation. Right.
and so for me,
Right.
You know, I only speak for me, everybody, so don't
Only
be in my
you.
DMs bashing me.
Cause he is married.
And
Someone already got
he's a
him.
mature man
'Cause-
with all his hair.
I came up through the 70s.
Yes.
You know, I have a father that I hung out with. I have a grandfather that I hung out with that was considered like what we would call street guys. So the mentality and the whole concept of what a man is not the same today.
Now it
You
is
know,
some old
so-
players from the Himalayas that
But-
still be like wanting to be
They
able to play his
trying.
ball.
But
He's trying
He
it.
trying.
you don't, but you still don't, cause here's the thing, let's, I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole with you.
Okay.
Even being a
Please
player,
do.
what you call a
We
player,
welcome it.
there is no such
We
thing.
welcome it, please.
There is no such thing as a player from my position in
Okay.
my generation. If I'm a man and you're a woman, that means I treat you well regardless of the position we in.
Two snacks, say it again.
So
Wait. Back up, please. Say it for the people in the
So-
back that didn't hear that. Because everybody ain't listening. Put your glass down and tune in to the Thaddeus show.
This is what two
yeah,
snacks?
so it's no such thing as being a player because if I provide wellness,
Wellness, goddamn
it's
well.
the
any sort.
expectation you're getting something out of the situation. No matter what my situation is and where I stand, any female that's gonna be in my circle is gonna be taken care of.
So can
Okay.
you just elaborate on the taking care of, just in case people think that that's one thing or the other? What does that mean?
So taken
to
care of is not financial.
Right.
Taken care of is emotionally. Taken care of is being considerate. Taken care of is being understanding. Taken care of is
Being
if you're-
respected.
being respected. Taken care of if you got kids. I know what that means. If you got a son, I bring leadership. If that son sees me, he sees value in me. So if I'm
Interesting.
and that don't have anything to do with whether I'm sleeping with you.
Maybe I
or
should get
not.
another gummy. Is this the gummies?
You're missing out. I can tell you that much
That
right
just
now.
has-
I had another.
That just has everything to do with
Okay.
me being a man. I used to tell people this. So when I was single, I go out, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll give you another example. I might be sitting at
Oh, why are we why are we shying away from the when I was single and I was going out?
well, because it's twofold. Because even now with me not being single, I still go out. I may be sitting at the bar,
Did you
and
have another one?
you know, if I'm sitting at the
Mom,
bar
Adrian.
chilling and you sitting at the
Coming,
bar,
right?
and I buy you a drink, okay? For me, I don't mean shit. That's
Right.
just we sitting at the bar. I brought you a drink.
You're sitting here.
You sitting there, all right? So, and if we talking, having a good time, that's the moment. I get walk away from that situation. I don't want anything from you. This is the moment we're in.
It's a transaction.
This is a
Agreed.
transaction, you know?
We
So-
spent some time. It might have been a
No,
minimal
no,
amount
it's
of
just,
time.
you bought a drink.
Well, you're
you
sitting
were
there anyway.
appreciative of a
Of a
nice woman,
conversation.
and it's like sitting a
Yeah,
compliment.
so-
It don't mean you're sitting a
Well,
bed.
well,
a
today
flying
it doesn't
foot
mean
bed.
quite the same thing.
Right. Some
But
women
just
don't know how to even
please.
receive that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I say, you know, because some women don't even know how to receive that. You know, I'm not expecting anything from you. I walk away from that situation and not even know your name.
Now, I said that to someone not long ago, recently, where they were having a business debacle with someone that was working with them that was a female, and they are a person of order and discipline and
Right.
nice and and so I say to them, because it ended up escalating to the debacle,
Mhm.
and I'm a woman, and we have our shit with we got some fuck women too.
Oh yeah.
So it's some,
Said
I
fuck
just,
women.
it's some
Oh,
fuck
yeah,
women
some-
out here too.
yeah.
So, and I
There
don't
is.
tell y'all the truth.
Well, we can say fuck bitches because we said fuck niggas.
No, I don't.
Well, we can because we said fuck niggas.
She
We have to. It has to have the
took
same
another
amount of.
one.
It gotta be
But-
equal. It gotta be equal. You can't just because you're a woman say fuck women.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Well, I'll
But-
say it for
But
everybody.
I
There's some fuck
said to
bitches out
them,
there.
I said to them, and this is, I believe this. Not all women are used to being
Right.
treated like a
Treated
woman
well,
or a
right.
lady unless something sexual is
And that's
attached
the
to
thing.
it.
They
That's-
don't.
And it
understand
doesn't, we need to embrace as women. It's okay, like, for us to like to dress nice and look nice for ourselves.
Right.
It's okay, it doesn't mean you're bougie. For you to be able to receive love or
receive
receive
a
You don't have to
kindness
give
or
anything in
friendship.
What I
Yes.
tell
Change
single
for it.
women, you have to recognize a man quickly when he's in your presence. And I ain't talking about a male. I'm talking about a man.
A man is a difference.
A man gonna move differently
Not
than what y'all
gender.
say a fuckboy will. Like a lot of women deal with y'all term fuckboys or just males, and they're not the same. They're not even close.
Because they the ones that's out
They're not
there.
even close.
Looking around and trying to.
They're not
Yeah,
even close,
Yeah, they're
and
the
there
ones
are,
that
and
are out
there
there
are
moving
women
around.
that,
Right.
you know, even if the man never made an advance at her, like you say you're married and you might send a drink, it's okay if you go out. Doesn't mean that you want to marry her, you're already married.
Right.
It doesn't mean you want her number, you don't want
I'm in
anything
this
else with her.
environment. I'm enjoying the
You
moment.
just
I'm,
having a,
you know,
that's
right.
what men do.
my wife know who I am.
Right.
To my point.
And
That's
you go
what
home
men
and you have
do.
a happy ending with your wife.
And
That's what
it.
you do when you're married.
It's
Right.
meaningless. I walk away. I don't even know your name. You know.
And you don't
So-
want to know their name.
Right.
But there's some, because there's a lot of women that the only interaction of kindness that they've
There
ever
you go.
experienced, kindness, not love, not lust, nothing, just kindness
Mm-hmm.
from the opposite sex has only been a sexual kindness. And that's where we have fatherless homes,
Mhm.
right? And daddyless hearts.
Right.
And that's where kindness is a must on a man. When I go out, my dad's 74. When I go to Jersey, he's still opening the door.
That's
He's
OG.
still getting the bill for everybody. He still want to buy his baby girl lit wine like this. He buy 20 bottles of wine. I'm like, Dad, we
So
still
wait,
drink
so
some.
back to what you were saying about the when you recognize a man and you're out. So now we're at the bar, you buy the person a drink. Now, the whole point of us talking about that was because you were saying, or we were saying, that there's a big difference between what the fuck niggas out here doing.
Yeah, so
their purpose,
we-
so when they buy
And a
you a drink,
grown-ass man.
they have a purpose.
Yeah, so and I would say even with me, I've dropped the ball on mentoring and educating younger men on how to be a man. You know, like I mentioned my grandfather, my dad, those guys, I hung out with them. I saw man.
So they taught you the game.
You know, and it wasn't, I'm gonna sit you down and I'm gonna tell you this. You learn
Watch it.
because you was in their environment. I hung out with my grandfather a lot, you know, and I tell people funny, you know, my grandfather, he did construction, like the asphalt out there, he laid like commercial driveways and put the lines out, the parking lots and shit. So he would take me to female houses and I would cut their grass. Or he'll have some groceries in the truck and he'll say, take these groceries in the house, okay? I'm a kid. I ain't never really put this together till I got older and with my grandmother. My grandmother and my grandfather were married to the day they died. So it wasn't sexual. It was, that's a female in the community that maybe was a single parent or she needed a little help or so you did what was needed in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, to your point, everything has to be sexual. You can't just go out there and do with that without having that sexual expectation.
And it's not even done. I mean,
Mhm.
I think to even push that point a little further, in order to get to the point where somebody might do something, it has to be the promise of, or there's some kind of insinuation that some
Yes.
shit's gonna happen.
And just doing what needs to be done
Right.
just for the mere fact of humanity.
Right.
You know, and if stuff escalates organically, then that's what it does and that's what it is. But
Mhm.
you didn't go in saying, this is my motive. You went in doing what's needed to be done because
And I feel like on both ends, and you and I, you know, I was cast back into being singlehood, not necessarily because I wanted to, but it's here, I'm here. So I gotta deal with understanding singlehood. We talk about this often. I feel like it is two ways on both levels, but I feel that the expectations need to be realistic on both sides. And they got the game fucked up in here. The 70s babies, this ain't the shit we used to.
right, exactly. It don't.
It's too much leeway.
We
Like,
need
I'm
some
just
real
not-
courting.
Yeah,
Need
just-
some, like it's levels
and
to the
some
shit. It's
definitiveness.
courting, which is like the interview,
Right.
chilling.
Well, also definitiveness definitively, what is it that you're trying to do?
So
Let me
I was
know.
just about to, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's
what-
gotta be definitive.
So here's the thing.
If this is not what you want to do, you don't need to be doing it.
Here's the thing. This is from my grandfather. May he rest in peace to the world on social media today. And he don't know nothing about social media.
Right.
Social media wasn't even around when he passed away. What he always told me was, always allow a female or a woman to make her choice with you. Okay.
100%.
So,
And give her something to choose from.
but regardless
Well,
of how
also
where
give
I'm
her a
at in my
choice.
life,
Don't take away her decisions.
if I don't want a relationship,
Then say that.
put that on the table, where I am and how I'm moving. You make your choice.
Right.
And
With
once you make that
information.
choice,
Right.
you in the fear. See, I learned that coming out of high school, going into college, especially that was my football years. So you at the University of Alabama, you got all this shit coming at you. And what I used to tell, like I had a roommate, so he went out, his car got keyed, you know, and he used to be like, Dad, what's the deal? You know, you mess with as many people as I mess with, and you don't have them issues. I said, and I tell him, I said, I hear you back then. It wasn't no phones. It was you
had to talk to the
don't
person.
have to talk to the person.
Ain't no text messaging.
So I say, I hear you on the phone. Everybody you talk to, you ear with, I love you. You know, I was like, that's the wrong move because now you setting the expectation for these people that telling them that they're the only one, but you got 2 or 3 others. For me, I got friendships. You know.
And you
I
love
got-
your friends. This is sending
We kicking it. If I go out, we kicking it. We doing whatever we do. Everything's gonna happen organically and naturally. It becomes what it is. Everybody makes their choice. Everybody knows where I'm standing. At that point, I wasn't in the relationships.
Right.
You know, I don't have no reason to lie to you because the fear of rejection for me has never been an issue.
Let me ask you a question though that you said that. So, being the devil's advocate that I am, so
And
yeah, a little gummy.
a little
Um,
yeah.
So with that being said, and a man giving you the decision, do men have the same level of openness when it comes to us having our decisions and us?
It depends on who you're dealing with. I do because
You do.
I don't
So if
have
I'm
insecurity.
You're married. We're talking about
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
you're
fact.
so you're single. We single. We're dating. And I say to you, okay, I like what we're doing. This is great and fun, and you know, it's all fun and games and this that, and third. But I'm dating Teddy too, and he's so cute, and he's really nice.
Well,
to
I don't
me.
know if you should say Ted. You shouldn't introduce
Here's
him
the
to
thing. Here's the thing. And this is me.
Do we have that
And this is
conversation,
my
or is it just
confidence.
whatever we do is okay?
If I want you and you in my sandbox,
Ain't no Teddy.
there's no other man.
That's what. Okay, so
That
that
is on the
that
table.
was what I was trying to get to.
I want you.
So.
If I said you had that conversation,
I ain't
I'm
worried
like,
in my
cool.
sandbox.
That means I don't really want
So
you.
you saying fuck Teddy?
No, you
Ain't
got
no
the
Teddy.
choices in my sandbox.
Yeah.
Me in
so,
my
let me- so,
sandbox.
but you can. You're allowed to
Allowed to what?
date Sarah.
I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna tell you where I'm at, and that's up to you to make
Okay.
this for me.
But
If-
because I'm
if
a
you
woman
walk
and I
away-
say to you, me and Teddy dating, and you don't like that, or ain't no Teddy because you making sure ain't Teddy.
If I
Ain't no
want
Teddy
you-
around.
And I'm not boasting. I've never
Oh.
not gotten anybody that I wanted.
Okay.
Not that
I
I've never
respect
been
that.
rejected. I've been rejected, but if I want
But if you
you,
were truly dead set on wanting something and that was your goal,
if that's what I want,
that was happening.
it's happening.
Hands down, Teddy didn't exist.
It's
Well,
That's
Teddy
grown
just-
man shit.
Or Teddy just was, he got let down. Teddy had to go on
You're
about
gonna be
his
disappointed
business.
with Teddy.
Teddy and Sarah had to go meet each other.
Teddy can't run a marathon.
He can't
Okay.
keep up
He
with
can't
you.
keep up.
You got shit in your.
You
You
might-
building castles in
You
your
might
sandbox.
even
On
say
that
you might
note.
even say Teddy cuter than me.
Right.
But you gonna be like, shit, cute.
But dang, I
But
got them gummies.
Get the heck out the
Dad got that CBD store.
He got the castle in
You
his
know,
sandbox.
but that's
He
where
got the bucket and the
manhood,
shovel.
and that's where
Now, please say that
everything.
again. So now this is where manhood
That's
comes
where
in.
manhood
Because
comes into
manhood
play.
means if I want you,
I'm gonna
Deer Park water,
right.
And I say to myself, I am going over there to get it.
I make
Ain't
the
shit
choice.
that can come in between me
And
and
that
give
water.
our water.
And I'm not. This is not a chauvinistic statement, but
Is it
there
not?
is
Is it not?
there's no woman that can make the choice for me.
Right.
I control that scenario.
And that's some grown.
I control.
But that's to be
man
respected.
shit.
Now
I mean,
that is to
we
be
got grown man
respected.
kids
Because to
and
me
grown
that
man
means
shit.
A, this is what I want. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I am going to make sure that these things happen, and I'm going to do what I need to do in order to secure that.
To secure
And no
that.
excuse.
Ain't no,
And
No complaining.
well,
You ain't gonna be able to-
I'm trying.
You ain't
Or
gonna be able to
this
walk
be
away from
happening.
it. You ain't gonna be able to walk
Ain't
away
gonna be
from
no
it.
choice.
Ain't gonna be
You
no
gonna-
damn
you gonna
choice.
be-
Okay,
yeah.
so I feel
So-
like we can close out
All
on
right,
that
we
note.
need a shake.
On that note, listen, we
And
y'all
that- and that's what
run
we-
that
listen,
back,
and-
run that back.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's-
we did. And that, let's toast the black love people. You need to put something else in your cup.
He got a
Look,
little swig.
look.
He got a little swig.
We
in
done
him.
drunk 2
You
bottles.
got a sweet in it.
He got a little
Black
swig.
love. Black
Black
love
love.
exists, baby.
Black courting.
Courting.
Which
Then
means
you go
some
to
love.
dating. Then you might go to commitment. Or you'll just be
So
a
let's
friend.
pull up Black Rob because in
Oh,
memory
oh,
of
that's
him,
me, that's
we
me.
are going to go out on a Black Rob
Black Rob.
song. Ma, are you here yet? Where are you? I don't see you in the parking lot.
I can talk about that all day long.
We're gonna talk about it after the show. So everybody put up your glasses, get your CBD, your
Straight out of
cannabis to
weed.
Black Rob.
There we go.
You ain't got shit in that glass.
Look,
I'm the only one with my whole glass still.
Black Rob.
You ready?
She was
Whoa. Whoa. Come on, y'all. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, thank
So-
y'all.
Yeah.
Everybody sees the CBD is kicked in.
The CBD is in full effect.
Look, it's,
And we haven't even hit the
Wait,
second
wait.
gummy yet.
it done kicked in
I
so
think we
much.
did.
Y'all got me calling it CBD, but it's really
T-A-
Delta
We
8.
ain't had nothing to do with that. That's your CBD.
No, you
section.
kept saying CBD.
I was just
but
trying
it's
to
Delta
be
8
politically correct.
THC. It's Delta 8
Delta 8 THC. Come
Yes.
down here and
And
get you
come
some
down here to where?
CBD,
CBD.
American
American
Shaman.
Shaman.
CBD, American Shaman, Conyers, Georgia.
Conyers, Georgia, baby.
Namaste.
Come on, like,
Like, whoa.
I'm like, all right, guys.
That was
See you
fun.
next week.
we still